stage.
Okay, good. See, lying there listening, man. This is good. Hey, so welcome back. Last session. You guys ready for a little bit more?
Usually not wearing dress shoes all day long. I had to put on my boots, so yeehaw. No, absolutely. I think today, as you saw yesterday from the leaders that got to speak, I think today's probably going to be even more raw than what we saw yesterday. I know the next speaker and myself's presentations are very raw to the heart, and I think that's what's going to continue to build our business stronger, because there are ups and downs. When I first got started in this company, I would show in trainings what it took to go to Diamond. And it's a roller coaster, guys. Like Neely showed yesterday with the squiggly lines. Like it wasn't just a, hey, Mike got started, he's a Diamond. It was a lot of heartache. And I know, like Mickey was talking about yesterday, she hit Diamond on the way to, or in the air. There's so many ups and downs to this business, but, like I said on the video, it's about staying put. It's about not quitting. It's about not giving up. It's about seeing your story. So as we hear the stories from the leaders today, you've got an amazing group of leaders that are talking today. I'm going to bring up our next leader, Miss Lindsay Judson.
My husband, he's actually fishing in New Orleans for his 40th birthday this weekend. We call him Babe, me and my girls. I have 4-year-old twins. Actually, they'll be 4 next month. We're still in the terrible 3s right now. Boss Baby, the surprise baby, she just turned 2 last month. There is a staff of people taking care of them at home. Y'all should pray for them. They need it. So anyway, they're a big part of this story that I'm gonna tell y'all. So where's my mom? There she is. So y'all, that's my mom. My main speaker had Debbie at the party last night. She's always the best time out of everybody, except maybe Bobby. So if it wasn't for my parents, I would have never ever considered network marketing. But we're going to kind of talk more about that later, okay? So, there's a story within a story within a story here. I'm going to do my best to tell y'all. I'm so glad that I'm getting to go before Paul Egan because I do not want to have to follow that guy. So, I have been on the crash course of network marketing the past 1.5 years. I've been with this company about 1.5 years. We've all got bumps and bruises. It's that squiggly line and that roller coaster all rolled into one. And I'm going to kind of tell you about that story. Whenever Russ initially approached me about speaking this weekend, he asked me to speak about 3-way calls and inviting and a bunch of other stuff. And I kind of thought about it, but there was something else in my heart that I wanted to talk to y'all about. And whenever I called him back to tell him that, and I told him the story, of course he knows none of this, obviously, he's like, that's what you need to talk about. I give you the go ahead. Now he may be in Berlin right now having a heart attack, but that's okay, whatever. So, I do appreciate his support though. So many of you know, let's see here. So let's get real, we're gonna be real. That is what it looks like at my house all the time. That is a motley crew. They dress themselves. There's some very opinionated humans. I guess they get it from me or my mom, I don't know. So if you know me at all, you know that I'm very candid. I have to be authentic. I have to be real. And that is what I'm going to do. The best of me today is I'm going to be real, raw, and transparent. Okay? And anytime I look bored, I'm going to put a cute picture of my kids up there because, they'll get your attention. If you're a mom in this room, then you understand why I like these pictures. We don't like the pretty stuff. What we see when we look at our pictures of our children is the real stuff, right? So, like I said, this has been a roller coaster. So I'm not coming to you as a diamond, someone that shot to diamond. I'm not coming to you as this unicorn person that jumps into network marketing, had immediate success. I'm coming to you as your peer. And I hope that you can relate to what I say today. And then others that don't relate to this, I hope that it'll give you some perspective. Okay? So most of y'all know in this room, you know my friend and sponsor, Neely Arms. Before I tell you the story that I'm going to tell you all, I want to tell y'all something cool. So Mike has been telling me since I started this to write down my vision, and it was so hard. Adulthood happens. We used to have this amazing imagination where we could picture ourselves doing all these amazing things, and then you graduate from college and you start paying taxes, and you have this to-do list, and then you have to wash the clothes and tend to your husband and do just death and taxes, just long lists. And it chokes out your right brain. You have a hard time. As a child, it was so easy for me to write down my goals, and it has not been easy for me in this job. It has not been easy. And so I would write my vision, and it would be like half of this note card right here. And Mike would be like, no, that's not it. And so it has taken me a year and a half to be able to do that. Well, I was talking to a really good friend of mine. She's really raw, she's really real, and she's a really straight talker. And she said, okay, if that won't work, then write a speech. Write what you would say if you were going to be able to take the stage and talk on this platform called network marketing. Write down exactly what you would want people to know. And so I did, and I wrote it, and it was like, bam, 15 minutes. The whole entire speech was written. Y'all, that was 2 weeks before Russ called me. I had planned to give a speech in the fall, but when you throw something out there like that to God and the universe, like they may make it happen. He may make it happen, not on your timeline. So exactly what I talked about in that speech when I wrote it down as a futuristic thing is what I'm going to talk about today. So imagination is everything, and that's what a lot of this is about. So, okay, this roller coaster. Our right brain, I wanted to talk to you a little about that. Whenever you start imagining and it opens up, then it's a lot easier, okay? So whenever I decided to choose network marketing, it was not an easy decision, but I was looking for something. I started having kids, I was a nurse, and I don't know how many of you are in healthcare, but there's not much room for your right brain in healthcare anymore. It kind of knocks out your imagination. But I was looking for something more. I just didn't know what it was yet, okay? So, whenever my parents, a million years ago, when I was in elementary school in the early 90s, they were in a company. You might be able to guess the name. Yes. So they would go to these functions, and they would bring back these books, and they'd bring back these tapes. And in early elementary school, I read those books, and I read those tapes. I listened to those tapes. So Og Mandino was my favorite. And I read that book right over there probably, 20 or 30 times whenever I was in elementary school. So I think that that's a cool, story to go with this, as that I started programming my brain for this a really long time ago. So my husband, he is a serial entrepreneur. I was grappling about work, and he's a very straight talker. Oh my gosh. Anyway, he said I was grappling about work, and he said, "Screw that, work for yourself." He didn't really say that. My mother knows what he really said, but we won't say that. And I also wanted to be with my girls as much as possible, as they were babies. My mother stayed at home with me my entire life, and I wanted that for myself. Then my parents had done network marketing, and I heard them talk about it. I heard my dad talk about it as he kept his corporate job, as he started his own business on the side. In addition to that, I had heard him talk about this animal we call network marketing. So we got started, and I only started this. I had bought a bunch of rent houses. I had only started this so that I could build equity in my rent houses. But after I met Byron and Casey and Paul, my belief and my understanding of things started to grow. So, network marketing gets a bad rap sometimes. Some of it's rightfully so, some of it is not deserved. My favorite thing about network marketing is humans. The least favorite thing about network marketing is the humans. So, a little backstory. Neely and I, that's Neely in the orange shirt. This was back when high-waisted jeans were in style like the third time, but now they're back. So, we were childhood friends. We lost touch. We were a little bit of friends in high school. This is when I was a freshman and she was a sophomore. We lost touch. We dated brothers in college. Lost touch again. Sorry, bro. That's part of the story. Anyway, for 13 years, I watched her husband compete on the National Finals Rodeo in December, and I was so happy for her. The only time we ever talked would be right before the NFR when I would send her a message. She probably still has it on her messenger, and tell her congratulations and I hope that y'all do great. You know, it was so awesome to see your childhood friend, her family doing so well. So on a side note, Neely and I, Neely didn't actually recruit me. She made a curiosity post on Facebook and I actually reached out to her. And I kind of signed myself up. It was one of those things, you know, call it passive recruiting or attraction marketing, whatever you want to call it. But that's how I got going. So we got going. We were ignorance with our hair on fire, just running like crazy 18 months ago. We had no idea what we were doing. Mike was trying to control us, but you know, you can't control women, so that's how that is. But who went to Ascend in October? It was a good time, great event. At that event, me and Mike and Neely were not speaking. It was not good. We were acting pretty for the cameras. We were doing the things, but we were not talking. Some things had happened, had gotten ugly. I'm sure that some of y'all can relate to that. But it's a really long story. We're obviously not going to hash out the details, but I want to tell you a few things that I learned through that experience, okay? So one thing that I learned is that I had to go from being a wage earner, I'd always work by the hour, I'd always work shift work, to an entrepreneur. I had to stop asking permission because I was doing that. I had gotten going and I started thinking, you know, I want to do this a little bit the way that I was attracted to this company. I went to Mike and Neely, I asked for their permission, I got the green light, they said figure it out, so that's what I went and did. But earlier, this is actually something that I had in my speech on my computer, Byron talked about building a company within the company. Not all of our companies are going to look exactly the same. And so that's what I had to accept and own myself. And others had to learn that just because it's different doesn't mean it's not duplicatable. And I know that's not a real word, but I'm going to use it anyway, it's my word. So, some other things that I learned. People make mistakes. This is an interesting business. It's about the humans. And we become friends, and then we become family. And it's just like anything else. Who in here owns a traditional family business? We do. So y'all know the drama. We're not going to get into that. I only have a few minutes. That's probably a conversation for the hotel bar. But there's a lot that goes into that. We've experienced in the past year in my husband's company. So there's a lot that's there. So in the meantime, what happened was that, you know, I was paralyzed. I didn't know what to do. My mindset was a complete total wreck. I looked elsewhere. I looked at other companies. I thought about quitting completely. I thought maybe network marketing is not for me. But then I saw my friend Brittany, what we had decided that we were going to do. I saw her exceeding and excelling, and y'all heard from her yesterday. And so she made me hold on to my belief that what we were trying to do would work. So how do you move forward after that? When someone is big enough to come to you with an utter and sincere apology, you forgive them and you move forward. And we are not perfect humans. Nobody in this room is perfect, and neither are we, far from it. We're some really big personalities in the organization. We are better together. And that is what we decided. We decided that we would make it work, and then we would link arms, and then we would forget the past, and we would move on. Forgiveness is divine. So I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot. I will be honest with y'all, when I was looking around, I felt like I was cheating on Byron the whole time. It was terrible. As we're going through that, you know, it was not the product. First of all, I'm from healthcare. I walked away from a career that I've been very passionate about, and very good at for 11 years because I did not believe what I was doing. So never doubt that I believe in these products 110,000%, just like Casey says, 110,000%. But it was not the timing or the third-party testing or any of that kept me here. It made me just be still while I was going through all this for months and months and months. It was not those things. It was Byron. It was his heart. And it was Casey. And it was Paul Hickey. He has been a wonderful friend and mentor to me. It was Neely in our history. This is just, it seems like that God wants me and Neely to be together in some form or fashion, so we need to stay that way. It was Mike. It does not matter what type of three-way call or who I bring to him on a three-way call, he already knows the answer because he's already been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. It was my team. They're amazing, phenomenal human beings, and they're wonderful people. It was Brittany and our friendship. It was everybody that's here in this room. So that is why we have to make it bigger than the product. They're wonderful. But we have to stop the hype, and we have to make it about the people. That's our Dallas group. Whenever Paul was talking about the Dallas thing earlier, we got really excited. So whenever I told Russ, I need to talk about something else, I said, I want to talk about authenticity. And you know what he told me the theme of this weekend was? Authenticity. So my message in that is, you may feel frustrated. You may feel like you kind of don't know what to do next. But if you will just be authentic and be yourself and be still, you'll be able to work it out. So who in this room is between the ages of 22 and 37? Come on, raise your hand. Not very many of us. Okay. I'll be 35 in 2 weeks. So I have recently admitted I'm a millennial. It was something I fought for a long time. I thought it was a bad thing. But I have admitted to myself that there's a reason why I think the way that I think and why I want to do the things the way that I want to do them. A lot of it has to do with this right here. I don't know anything but this. So in order for me to build my business and for me to do what I need to do, a lot of it has to go through right here, right? So if you're a millennial, like it or not, we might do things a little bit different than a previous generation. Connectivity. So where's Whitney? I don't know where she's at. So y'all, Whitney, we connect differently. Millennials connect differently. That does not mean that the relationship is not real. That does not mean that it's any different than any other relationship that's made person to person. We just do it through social media. Whitney is my Facebook girlfriend. That's what she told her husband the first time they were going to meet me in person, is that I was her Facebook girlfriend. We met in a Facebook group. I had put some content out there. Someone kind of attacked it. She didn't like it. And so she stood up for me and reached out to me on Facebook. It was awesome. So we are now preparing. She's actually here with me this weekend. And this was just a couple months ago. We are actually planning our Disney trip with our girls together. It doesn't make it any different. She's one of the best friends I've ever had. We've only known each other 6 months. So millennials will choose a brand for a cause. And that is what we talked about this morning. What other company out there is making a incentive trip based on a relief mission? You have to do work to go and do more work. Well, I'm in. That sounds awesome. So people are meeting the loves of their life. They're ordering their groceries through apps. We've talked about that on and on today. So that is one thing that I think has changed. It's one thing that really resonates with me. That's one way that I have to do this. So community. That's what we. Community. The first vibe that I ever got, the first time I ever met Byron really in person, was sitting around a table eating Shauna Martin's gumbo in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And that's what I got from Casey and from Paul and from everyone. People want what we have, y'all, but they don't even know that they need it yet. I was that person. I wanted more, but I didn't know what that more was, but I was looking for it. So while I was figuring this out, I needed a nervous breakdown whisperer. That's something that Paul said. I had to work through some stuff. So There's people that probably will relate to this in this room. It's okay to want more. It's normal to feel guilt about that as a woman, as a mother. You have everything that you've ever wanted in your life. You have your husband, you have your children, you feel extremely blessed. But you have this feeling that you want more, and you don't know why. Duplication looks different. It doesn't mean that it doesn't duplicate. I have this feeling and this need to create this uprising. Is it a midlife? I don't know. Is 35 when you have a midlife? I don't know. But that's what I have a feel. And that's what I have a feeling for when we're talking about this and we're trying to do this. Is it worth putting myself out there? Who am I serving? And I have to be authentic. So who in this room chose this because of freedom? You were sick of your job, you were sick of yourself, you were sick of your health. One of those things. That's why we're all here. I said earlier, if you feel like you're faking it, then just be authentic. Don't you think there's probably a couple people in this room that are really uncomfortable that I'm up here in jeans? It doesn't matter, I'm me and myself, okay? So you have to find a system that works for you. The system is, regardless of what it is reaching out, following up, building the relationship, and continuously building your list. That is what we're doing here. Depending on the season of your life that you were in, that may look a little bit different for different people. So if y'all ran into me and Mike on the street, just out and y'all didn't know either one of us, we look a little bit different, right? So y'all cannot mistake us one for the other. Mike is the daddy. He is the primary income earner for his house. My primary job is to take care of my household. My primary job is to support my husband and be his assistant for all of his businesses, even though he already has two. Clean up the messes, kiss the boo-boos, wipe the tears, clean the house, do the laundry, do these things. And in the meantime, I have to do this thing over here on the side called building a business. For me, it looks like yoga pants and not brushing your teeth and dry shampoo. It doesn't look like that for everybody. But that is the season of my life that I'm in. And that is what the people like me, that is what they're dealing with. So, y'all know Brittany. Brittany spoke yesterday. So I'm going to kind of talk to the mamas. We're going to do a little girl power here. I have 3 girls at home. I feel the need. I had no idea I was such a feminist until I had 3 females. But there is strength in sisterhood. Y'all, Brittany is my cross line. But she went to the mat for me. She took my back. And she stuck up for me. She's one reason that I'm still here. In the traditional business world, she is my competition. But in this world, she is my, she wants me to do just as good as she does. That is a true abundance mindset. That is what we have here. That is a different animal than what everyone else has. So, did y'all know that 90% of everything that a female makes goes back into her household? We talk about going to Africa, we talk about these things, but can't we make a really big difference just in our own backyard, just in our own household? If mamas like me are doing something like this and interacting with people like y'all and people like Byron and Casey and Paul and Russ, don't y'all think that can change a household and change the next generation? So what do? You find a system, you find a platform that works for you. It's going to look different for everyone. For me, it's females. For me, it's moms. I believe that this industry, I believe it's the best industry out there. I believe that it can truly change the world. I believe that it will change my girls' lives. I believe that it will inspire them to do bigger things. Period. So I appreciate y'all listening to me today. And if you take anything away from this, just know that that is what we have to do. We have to find a platform that works for us. Thank you.
My name is Tina Chambade and I am the manager from Sana Foundation in Uganda. We are so grateful for the huge support that Rain International has given to Musana to build our new workshop. Right now we have a very beautiful and strong structure, and we are so grateful for the support that we have because we are going to work in a very nice and tidy environment. It's calm and quiet and very peaceful down here. and we are so grateful. Thank you, Rain International, for supporting us to construct this beautiful workspace for these women. 3, 2, 1, 0!
The cowboy who's wearing Double Rain Diamond, Mike Ammerman.
Wow, there's a clock up here now. I love it. Okay. When Russ asked us to speak, and we were talking to different people about having what leaders to speak and different things, he said, well, what are you going to talk about? I said, I don't know, just put a picture of Rain up there and I'll figure it out. Because if you know me, that's pretty much the way I live my life, is about to see my pants. So it's funny, Russ said, Mike, you got to have your presentation to Elise Friday. I called Neely like 4 o'clock Friday and said, hey, have you done your presentation yet? She said, no. I said, me neither. What are we going to talk about? She goes, I don't know. And so as we kind of talk through that together, if you know me or you've been around, especially trainings, I talk about vision all the time. I don't know why these people quit. How many people got here and said, Mike said write my vision down, but I didn't do it for a year? How important is it to know where you're going, right? And so, a lot of you have heard my story. I want to fast forward through my life to a point that got me to Rain. And it's going to be a little raw, and I'll put an asterisk. I'm not telling you to quit your job before we get into this, okay? So we talk about stop worrying about what you have to lose and start focusing on what you have to gain. So, success or failures, doers or dreamers, rich or broke. What if you lost your job today? Now I'm going to paint a little bit of a picture here because I want you to understand what I went through coming into Rain. So in December of 2014, yes, I left corporate America and went full-time into network marketing. Phenomenal company, great product, started building something massive. You heard some of the stories from my leaders. Startup, created true financial freedom. I was talking to, how many people know Miss Beth? How many people love Miss Beth? You need to follow Miss Beth around just for a little bit and understand why she's such an amazing network marketer. She literally prospected 2 people at lunch today on the train. She never once brought up Rain. Right? So, as this is all happening to me, year goes by, we've done 10 million in sales in my team. We're on track to do 20 million in sales on my team. My best friend is our CFO. One of my closest friends is our main investor. January 28, 2016, he died in a tragic car accident. That would be like losing Paul and a couple of other very strategic investors all at once. Guys, it takes a toll, and it takes a toll quick. And so I started to kind of get worried, even though we had done 10 million, we're projected to do 20 million our second year, and I kind of started to try to fight through it. I was at the office every day. I was driving 2 hours from my house to the office every day to make sure that things were running, make sure things were going the right way. We were continuing to grow. And March 13th, 2016, 2 days before we get our check. So in that company, our big check was paid on the 15th. Right? Everybody been in those companies where you get those little small checks during the week and then you get the big one, the residual one, on the 15th. So March 13th, my best friend that I've known for 20 years, our CFO, says, hey, we're not going to be able to take commissions. Now, there's a few people in the room that were in that company with me. Really never knew that happened. And he said, let me look at some things. And he said, can you give up your check to pay the rest of the guys? I was making a lot of money. He said, can you give up your check so we can pay commissions? I'm like, sure. Now, a month before that, I paid the government taxes. So I was cash poor. How many people's bills are due on the 15th? Mine. Mortgage, electric, car payments, everything was due on the 15th. And I got really, really, really scared. To the point where, and guys, women, you're probably like this, but guys, we do all of our thinking in the shower. And it's the hand on the wall, water hitting your head, going, and I sort through stuff in the shower. I mean, that's my time. And so I'm sitting here, I'm in tears in the shower going, what am I going to do? How am I going to pay my mortgage? Now, I've been just about 2 years, being retired from corporate America. This is my job. And thank the Lord, they paid commissions. I don't know how. I didn't even ask how. I cashed the check as quick as I could. But he called me and says, we will not be able to pay commissions in April. Whatsoever. It's not going to happen. And so I freaked out. Called a really good friend of mine in the industry. I said, hey, what's out there? I've got to do something. I'm either going back to sell cowboy hats for a living, or I've got to find another network marketing company that I can move to. And so, what if you lost your job today? What would you do? How would you pay your bills? If that happened to you today, okay? These are all questions that I had to make in a split second of my life. This happened 100%, and I want y'all to understand this. So your boss walks in and tells you they cannot pay your check this month, and they're filing bankruptcy. They owe you that month's salary, which was very large, and they still owe you $106,000 in expenses. So all y'all were with me, y'all don't even know this. I had a deal with the company that they would pay my expenses at the end of the year. I paid them out of my pocket. $106,000 I will never see. So when everybody looked at me and they said, "Oh, Mike, you made so much money," I'm like, yeah, y'all don't see the airplane, the rental cars, all those things that we do as leaders to meetings. And I'm sitting there going, what am I going to do? And I was scared to death. And I'm head down in the shower. I'm crying like a full-blown 4-year-old. Because we'd retired my wife from her job through network marketing. We were getting to watch our daughter grow up, which was our why. And I'm sitting here going, what can I sell? Like, how am I going to pay my mortgage the next month? And so, these were all questions that went through my mind as a networker. Not as a corporate employee, but as a networker. What can I find to continue my lifestyle of paying my bills? And guys, I have a really, really, not elaborate, but I have a nice lifestyle. I like nice vehicles. My wife has a horse lifestyle. And all you horsewomen here, it's expensive. What lets me stay at home with my family and watch my daughter grow up? Guys, it is killing me to be here, even though I love y'all. But it would have made it a lot better. I got a phone call, Serena heard it earlier. My daughter FaceTimed me. She's like, "Dad, I hit the ball all the way to the outfield." That means a lot to me. And it kills me when I have to miss that stuff. But we do what we do in order to succeed and to let our family succeed. And so, what has unlimited potential for advancing? Can you come in and take over as the top money earner in network marketing? Brandon, can you go to the top?
Yes. Yep.
If I start in the mailroom of a Fortune 500 company, can I be the CEO? Not very easily, right? And I struggled with that in corporate America. I started in the mailroom as a sales rep, and I became the vice president of sales in a very large company. But I would never be the CEO, mainly because I wasn't living in New York. Texas doesn't go to New York. Okay? So, what has paid vacations? How many people have a corporate job? It's okay, you can raise your hand. Do they pay you to go on vacation? No. They pay you while you're off taking vacations, but do they pay for your vacations? Do they give you cash bonuses? Yes. Right? Okay, I'm going to subtract that cash bonus off your 80-hour week that I'm really not paying you for. Is that okay? What industry treats everyone the same? And so all these questions is what I was asking myself, and I knew there was only one industry that I wanted to be in. And it was the network marketing industry. And so as I sat down with some of the top companies in the industry, and I got to sit down with Byron and Casey and Daniel and really see the integrity. Guys, I'm going to tell you, Russ drove me from the office to the manufacturing facility and said, here, you want to try our product? I'd already sat with Byron and Daniel and Casey and asked a whole lot of questions, and I hadn't tried the product yet. I'm like, oh yeah, this tastes pretty good. And then I went and saw the manufacturing facility. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I flew home to Dallas, and I flew to New York, to New York 3 days later to sit through one of the trainings that was going on in Rain to see what their culture was like. How many of you did your due diligence that way? Paul, that's good. You're successful. So we talk about stories, and I told this to Miss Beth earlier. We were walking back from the restaurant. I've been very blessed in this industry not to hear the stories, but to watch and see them happen. So I'm going to tell a story here, and I hope Lindsay's going to record it because she likes the story. But from your water being turned off to paying cash for a Ferrari, I'm going to go way deep into that story in a little bit. A single mom of 3 fired at the end of the school year to making the same salary by the end of the summer. So one of my distributors in my company, my old company, got fired. She was a teacher. If everybody remembers, in Texas, teachers were getting laid off a couple of years, 4, 5, 6 years ago. And it was a big deal. She was a single mom of 4. And she came to me, she was bawling. She's like, Mike, what am I going to do? I'm like, here's your platform. You got 3 months. Because teachers don't work in the summertime, right? You got 3 months to replace your income as a teacher by the time school starts. I said, we got to go to work. And we did. Head down, laser focused work. We get to the end of the summer. She has tripled what she makes as a teacher. And she called me, she was in tears, and she says, I don't have to go back to work. She goes, but I'm going to. I said, why? And she says, because I love to teach. Now, how many people, any teachers in the room? Any teachers that, you've heard me say this, any teachers that would love to do their job, not worry about how they pay their electric bill? Every one of them, because if you're a teacher, you have a blessing, right? And we don't take care of our teachers. But it's a calling. It's like being a nurse. It's a calling to have to deal with what we watch you deal with, because Lord knows our parents do not take care of their kids anymore. They send them to school and think that the teacher's going to take care of them for them. All right, I'm going to get off politics. So,
Deja vu.
a homeless man that within a year was a 6-figure earner. I sat and watched this happen. A mentor in my life, direct upline, was sleeping in his car when he found the opportunity. Had been sleeping in his car for 3 months. Broke down, didn't know what he was going to do, was in a bad place in his life. Within 12 months was a 6-figure earner.
Wow.
So why are these stories different than yours? Why is my story, people ask, well, how did you go to Diamond in 4 months? When we get backed into a corner, we have 2 choices, right? We can either go left or we can go right. For me, left was back into the Western industry. To the right was network marketing. When I showed up at Rain, I had to go all in, because I had about 60 days to be able to afford to pay my mortgage and my car payments, or I was going to lose my house. Because remember, I told you I was cash poor. I had just enough to pay my bills for 60 days. As we listen to people tell their stories, as we listen to the stories that are going to continue to be heard in this company, the stories all have a common denominator. They went all in. Now remember, I said at the first, I'm not telling you to quit your job. I did this industry and made a lot of money doing it part-time for a long time. But for me, I was never all in. My life with that other company and what happened forced me to have an all-in mindset. It forced me to go out and talk to people that I never would have talked to before. It forced me to drive 10 hours to a meeting knowing that there may only be 10 people there. It forced me to get on an airplane and go do things that I probably wouldn't have done before because I didn't need it. I had a job. This network marketing thing was my part-time gig. It was my ish. It really was. People would ask me like, hey Mike, what do you do? Well, I run a very successful hat company. Now people are like, hey Mike, what do you do? I'm like, I'm retired. I work for Raymond. I'm an independent distributor in network marketing. Now, how many people say that? How many people say that I work for a network marketing company? Why do you not say that? What are you scared of? You're scared because you think that they're going to think bad of you, right? Why? How many women are in here? How many women want to make 6 figures a year? I'm going to lowball this because I don't know the exact percentage, and I use it's like 80, but let's just say 70% of the women in the United States that make 6 figures do it from a home-based business. So when somebody asks you what you do, what should you say? What should you be proud of? Rain. The products that we have, how can you not be proud of them? Look what they're doing for people. Right? And so, Diamond, when I got to go on a 7-country, 7-day tour with Byron. and I will tell you guys, I didn't know if I was coming or going. But I get on an airplane out of Dallas, we puddle jump, I end up in London, I end up in Budapest, and Byron, before he leaves, tells me, you need to stay up. No, you need to go to sleep as soon as you get on the airplane. Because when we land in Budapest, we're going to work. Well, I'm getting on the airplane at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, if y'all know me, I can sleep anywhere when it comes to flying. But we get to Budapest, and we go to work. And I don't even remember half of it. Because we went from Budapest to Germany to Amsterdam I was back in Budapest. And then he said, okay, you got to stay up the whole way home. When you get to Texas, go to sleep. Because it's like 14 hours. But one of the biggest questions while I was over there, we just hit Diamond, we broke a record, and they said, how did you do it? How did you create 25,000 in volume in a week, 5,000 on your left leg, 7 managers? How did you do it in 4 months? Guys, I had to. I was going to lose my house. My wife wasn't going to get to feed her horses. That's a big deal in my house. So, but I break things down. People always say, well, how do I get to this rank? Well, you go do this, and you help your people do this. It's no different than this. If I get to gold, and then all of a sudden I turn around and I focus on 5 people to get to gold, I'm a diamond. It's that simple. It's not easy. Byron says that, I love it. But it's that simple. Get to gold. Get 5 people to gold. It's the end game. It's all about numbers. It's about figuring out where I need to be and where I need to help them get. And then it's cake. Then it's about Neely getting to diamond, Dawn Christie getting to diamond, Brittany, Lindsay, all my leaders getting to diamond by just simply helping their people. What does your vision look like? I cannot stress this enough. Guys, If you've been to my vision training, you've set my trainings, you've seen my vision, it's all coming true. This is stuff I wrote 5 years ago on my 5-year vision. I just moved my last piece of furniture out of our house into our new place. The pictures are on my vision from 5 years ago. Your vision will pull you into your future, guys. I cannot express how big of a deal your vision and your why are. I was very blessed in this industry. A lot of you haven't been, and it's okay. I got to stand on the shoulders of legends in the industry. I don't know why. I don't know why these people just showed up in my life. Whether they were cross line, up line, down line. I had a gentleman in my last company was like 8 levels in my down line, and he was one of the most successful network marketers to ever play the game in the 80s. He was the #1 water filter guy in the world. Any older people in here? Remember the water filters?
Yep.
I'm talking, I mean, this guy, I mean, he needed a walker. He was an older gentleman, way older. And I got to listen to him speak and talk about the way they do business, and I was going, there's no way to do this. But he would teach me little things that I would pick up or through conversation. I'm like, this guy made $10 million a year. Selling water filters. And nobody really even knew his name. But I'll tell you what they taught me, what every single mentor taught me, was you've got to simplify it. Color by numbers. Does everybody understand color by numbers? Color this one red. All the ones color red. All the twos color blue. Our business is the exact same way. Color this red. Why? Because it needs to be red. It means you've got to go out and pique someone's interest. Doesn't matter how you pique someone's interest, whether it's Facebook or it's in passing on the train coming back from lunch. It's about having a conversation with them and piquing their interest to figure out where you need to take them in a conversation. And I'll tell you, Beth Whitaker is one of the best I've ever seen. Agreed?
Yes. Yes.
But it's because she has a caring heart. She honestly cares about every single person, even if she's never met them. They walk in the door of the tram, and there's Beth, and it's like, I'm laughing with Casey. I mean, we're across the tram. I'm going, man, they don't even have a clue what's getting ready to happen. But it really is. It's an awesome thing to watch. And so when we pique someone's interest, we've got to get them a tool. Whether that's a video, that's a sample of a product, it's a cut sheet. It doesn't matter. We've got to start getting them ready for us stepping back. Because the quicker we can get out of our own way, the better. And then we've got to get them on the phone with somebody who can answer every single question they have. I know there's some older network marketers in here that have been doing it a lot longer than I have. And we argue a lot. Because I don't agree with getting as many people into this business as you can and throw them up against the wall and see who sticks.
Yeah.
But what I do believe in is getting the right people in and being able to spend all your time with them. I live in a small town. I get gas at the same place. I drop my Queenie off at the same place. I eat lunch 3 or 4 times a week at the same place. I have to be able to walk in those places and not do like this. Right? So I have to approach this in a way that it's their decision, not mine. And the only way to do that is give them the right information, answer all their questions, and let the ball be in their court, and they can make the decisions for themselves. So I'm going to go over this again real quick because I think you need to know it. Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
I think that this, hands down, was a big, big move for us as a company. Simplifying what we have to do as distributors is what's going to duplicable. Texas, we all kind of have our own versions of most words. Duplicatable, duplicate. Guys, this picture right here is all you really need to know. What do we need to do in our first 2 weeks? Go get 2 people, right? If those 2 people come in at the super elite, that's an extra $1,100 in your bank account. Is that okay?
No.
But even if they don't, maybe that's not right for them in their life. And hey guys, by the way, it's not your job to sell them on the super elite. It's your job to figure out where they need to be and what path they need to be in at their life at that time. So first 2 weeks, we're going to enroll your first 2 ring partners. We're going to get an additional 15%. Guys, like Byron said, if we get people moving this direction to where I sign somebody up, we go through the commitment letter, we get their list done, and we start working with them on their list right now, knowing the only thing we have to do in the next 2 weeks is get 2 distributors, how much simpler is it? We're not worried about rookie. We're not worried about all these things that cloud our vision. We're worried about helping somebody be successful. If they come in at the super elite, they spend $2,500. In our first 2 weeks, we get $1,100 of it back, plus some more commissions. Have we won? Have we won in this industry? Absolutely. So our first 4 weeks, guys, we're just going to help them do the exact same thing. You probably won't hear me preach anything about 2 to get 2. You're going to hear me say, let's get your 2, Mike. And Leslie, you're one of his 2. And our only thing to do with you is get your 2. It's not me 2 to get 2. It's me helping Mike get his 2. It's me helping Leslie get her 2. It's about me helping Neely get her 2. It has nothing to do with anything other than just let's go get 2. Guys, if we all go out there and get 2, we win. We win as a company, we win as distributors, and if we stay focused on get 2. There's a slide that we used when we first got involved in this company, and it shows if you go get 2, you help them get 2, and you go all the way down, it's worth $20,000 a month. And it's the simplest slide I've ever seen. And it'll change your life if you'll let it, guys, because it doesn't matter if it takes 12 months. It doesn't matter if it takes 12 years. If you go get 2 and teach it, it changes everyone's life. I'm going to jump through this, even though. So, month 2, what do we do? Get 2. What do we tell our people to do? Have we just check mark the box on month 2? Okay, what do we do month 3?
Get 2.
What do we do on month 4?
Get 2.
What do we do on month 5?
Get 2.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Guys, it doesn't matter. All we're doing is going out and getting 2 people. 2 people will pay you a lot of money. 2 people will pay you more than most people will make ever in their corporate life. But when you start believing in that system and you go all in and understand that all I have to do is pique somebody's interest. All I have to do is introduce myself on the tram after lunch. And after I get them a tool, a sample, a video, whatever, and I follow up and they have questions and I get them on a 3-way phone call, and I let my upline, crossline, whatever expert talk to them, and they decide to get involved in this business with us, what's the only thing I got to worry about doing with them? Get 2, right? I'm going to jump through this because I'm going to get crucified if I don't tell the story. Hey, will you take me to my last slide, please? So, my first ever network marketing experience, I'm sitting in a room about like this. We're in the stadium seating. My high school football coach is on the stage. He's already made $2.4 million for like 5 years consecutive in this company. I feel like I'm in the high school locker room all over again because when he speaks, everybody listens. And there's this gentleman in the front row. And I'm like, man, I know that guy. He gets up and introduces himself. Well, actually, I played high school baseball, college baseball, ran track with this guy. Very, very, very successful athlete in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I mean, everybody expected him to still be playing pro football. Got on some bad times. Got on some bad times and really got down on his luck and was in a bad way. And when Coach reached out to him, he said, Coach, I'm sorry. There's no way I can do this. Coach got in his car, went over to his house. Literally, he was walking across the street to put water in a bucket so he could flush his toilets because he couldn't afford to pay his water bill. Coach says, you need this. And I'm telling y'all, when my high school football coach talked, you listened and you did whatever he said. And he said, Coach, this sounds great, but I can't afford to do this. He said, you can't afford not to. So he took his TV, went to the pawn shop, he pawned his TV, he went all in. And when I see him standing in front of this room, I'd seen this really pretty yellow Ferrari when I walked up to the meeting. I'm like, dang, that's cool. License plate said no job. He starts telling this story, and I'm like, man, this is cool. And so, of course, after the meeting, I'm standing out there talking to him, we're catching up. And this lady walks up, she's like, no job? He says, yes. She goes, you got that Ferrari with no job? He says, no. I got this Ferrari $499 down, and I pay $99 a month. She said, to what? He says, $499 down, $99 a month. He believed in his business so much that that's the reason why he had a 15,000 square foot house that was paid for, multiple high-end cars, $499 down, $99 a month. How much do you think it was to get his business? $499. How much do you think their product was a month? $99. Guys, and I'm going to tell you stories like that to this day make me love this industry. Because it wasn't about the Ferrari. It wasn't about no job on the license. Why do you think he had no job on his license plate? So people would ask. Because what do we want people to do? What do you do? Right? And so, I can't tell you enough that if you'll just open your mouth. And it doesn't matter. What Paul Hickey, one of the first meetings I ever heard Paul speak, he says, people ask me what I do, I say I'm retired. This same gentleman right here with the Ferrari, I was sitting with him at dinner one night. Guy says, what do you do? He goes, man, I make people's dreams come true. You do what? It's just about striking up a conversation. It's just about having a belief so deep in what we do that we continue to take the next step. We continue to go, okay, who can I help? Who is it? Who's got their hand up saying, I'm going to the top. Right?
Amen.
If you can't raise your hand and say you're going to the top right now, what are you doing here? All in. We have a chance right now to take a market share of the most dominant network marketing country in the world. I love Europe. Those guys are cool. I love Asia. I love Susie. She's so awesome. But you know what I care about? The U.S. We can go out and take every single piece of the market share in the United States in this room.
All right.
Man, I almost said something in there. Y'all just keep adding time to me right there. No, seriously, market share is everything. And Mike and Leslie and Paul, that you'll get to hear it from in just a second, guys, they understand that. We understand that as leaders. We have a chance to take something that nobody's ever seen from a category creating seed nutrition to the masses of the United States. Because do they need these products? Yes. Do we need these products? Yes. Do we need this opportunity? Yes. If we didn't need this opportunity, you would not be sitting here. So you've got to go all in. So thank you guys.
Well, you know, today I want to talk a little bit about what I consider, and many people hit on this today, but it's really kind of like the key. It's a very, very, very important principle in network marketing. And that is that in network marketing, it is really monkey see, monkey do. Duplication. Right? What is duplication? Duplication is getting somebody to know what you know and do what you do, so that they can teach somebody else to know what they know and do what they do. That's a pretty simple concept, and it really is the key to your freedom. The more that you can create duplication, it's the key to everything. It's the key, well, freedom. And we've been talking about freedom all day. Isn't that a lovely concept, freedom? Choices. You know, when we first get involved in network marketing in any company, there's an inverse relationship between time and money. Because you are it, basically. You are 100% of the effort in your business. But, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to spend more time and you're going to make less money. But as soon as you duplicate, as soon as you get somebody to know what you know and do what you do, now you're half of the effort in your business. That's a significant reduction. And then you become a third of the effort in your business, and a sixth, and a tenth, then a 1/100th, then a 1/1000th, then 1/10,000. And when that happens, now you can spend less time and make more money. But here's the problem. A lot of people wind up right about here, and they're not getting duplication, and maybe they don't even really get the concept of duplication. They're trying to do it all themselves, and they're saying, man, look, I'm spending all this time, and I'm really not making that much money. I quit. Well, if you don't get duplication, basically what you've done, if it's all dependent on you, is you just bought yourself another job. I mean, it's trade some time for some money, because that's what it is, and you're going to wind up being one time of the money. So how do we get duplication going? What happens to get duplication? What do you have to do? Well, I got to tell you, duplication is already happening. If you have one person in your team, duplication is already happening. But here's the thing. Some of it's good, and some of it's not so good. Because duplication begins with you. Have you ever heard that saying, the speed of the group is the speed of the leader? Well, so is the attitude of the group, is the attitude of the leader. The actions of the leader are the actions of the group. And so duplication, there has to be an original in order for there to be a duplicate. That makes perfect sense, right? Well, it's a volunteer army. So you can't fire somebody on your team, right? You can't just say, well, you know, I don't like you very much, I like what you're doing, you're gone. You can't do that. It's a volunteer army. So what you can do is you can lead, you can inspire, you can work right alongside those people, if they're willing to work alongside you, for a common goal. That's really all that you can do. I want to tell you a funny story. It's a funny and a sad and an enlightening story. In my previous company, I had about 60,000 people on my team, and I would travel here and there and everywhere to do meetings. And I remember, one time I showed up to this meeting, and then as people were filing in for the meeting, I started realizing, gosh, there aren't very many people here. And, oh, geez, they're all distributors. Man, these people are so lazy. Why can't they be more like me? And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. Do I have a guest here? They're exactly like me. So, if you stop recruiting, if you stop inviting, well, then your group looks up at you and they say, well, hey, I guess it's time to stop recruiting and inviting, because Paul's doing that, right? So it really does. It starts with you. So a good question to ask yourself about, whether it's good or bad duplication is just ask yourself, what if everybody thought like I thought? What if everybody was thinking what I'm thinking? Or what if everybody did what I'm doing? There's a certain tendency in a binary plan to develop a little bit of an entitlement mentality. Has anybody ever told you, wait a minute, I thought, this is our shared leg. You're supposed to build this leg. I'm going to build this leg. Good deal, but that's really not how it works. And what if everybody on your team thought that way, right? Oh, that's all you have to ask yourself. What if everybody did that? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? As I go to bed at night, I like to ask myself this question. What if everybody on your team did exactly what you did today? Would you be happy? I'll tell you, it keeps you really, really honest. And if this is what you're doing, I gotta tell you, there is no CV in TV. And so, if that's what happens, that's what your duplication is gonna look like. And that's what your results are gonna look like. On the other hand, if you have a daily action plan, I like to say I'm gonna contact 3 new people a day. I'm gonna do so many follow-ups a day. I'm gonna do so many 3-way calls a day. And that's my action plan. Well, if that's duplicating out on my team, then it looks like that, which is a lot prettier picture because the results are like that. Okay? Makes sense? Okay. Now, this is your goal, is to build, a big team with the right kind of duplication. Now, those guys cannot be in RAIN because they don't look happy, so they must be in a cryptocurrency company. So what behaviors, attitudes, and activities do we want to duplicate on our team? Well, the first thing, and so many people have touched on this is so important, is that you gotta have the right mindset, right? It really starts with what we think. So your mindset can either be an inoculation that protects your team and that protects you from distraction, or it can be a virus that infects your team and causes all kinds of distractions. People will really, people will dance to your tune. Your team will dance to your tune. Your prospects will dance to your tune. I'm going to go back one. Let me see if I can go back. Okay. I have 2 brothers that were in my previous business with me. One of them made $1 million in the business. The other one didn't make a penny. And the difference was, the one who made a lot of money knew that he was blessing people when he talked to them about the opportunity. The one who didn't make a dime came to me one day and said, I just don't know. Every time I talk to somebody, I feel like I'm bothering them. And so, bingo. It's just, that lays it out right there. Attitude is really everything, because your attitude is what begets your action, right? If you have a great attitude, if you know that this is gonna work out, then your actions are gonna follow suit. Human beings are hardwired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And so if you think that it's not going to be a good result, are you going to do the things that sometimes are not as pleasant in between here and the result to get the result? No, because you don't think this is going to be very good. But if you see the long picture that this is going to be great, you'll get through the annoying little things along the way, and then the results are fantastic. On the other hand, if you have kind of a negative attitude, then your actions follow suit. And so do the results. Okay? So, you know, a negative attitude really, it turns every little minor distraction, every little minor thing into just a major distraction. But minor challenges become these big distractions. And so what happens is every little shipping delay, every price increase or adjustment, every comp plan adjustment, every product back order becomes an excuse for an extended whining and moaning session. Right? And distributors who participate in whining and moaning sessions, they don't have any time to do the business. They're just too busy whining and moaning. Okay? So attitude is everything. If you start out with the belief that you're going to succeed, then those small little challenges don't become major distractions. You just keep moving towards your goal. Bobo, monkey, dot, delete. Right? Okay. Now, so here's another attitude that I like to duplicate on my team. And it's the proper attitude towards what most people call failure. Failure has become such a toxic word in our society. People want to avoid it as if it was death. But I promise you, if you're not succeeding fast enough, it's because you're not willing to fail fast enough. People think failure's over here. I want to stay away from failure and I want to go toward success. It doesn't work that way. Failure's over here and so is success. And you have got to get through failure in order to get to success. If you want to reframe it, just call it feedback. That's really what failure is. It's just feedback. So you act, you get a result, you examine that result. What did I do well? What did I do better? Then you repeat. And then you get a result, and you analyze it, and you adjust, and you repeat. Does that make sense? So they're both in that same direction. All right, now there really are no born pessimists. Somebody touched on this. I think it was Lindsay, talking about imagination. Right? You know, I don't know what happened to that poor guy, but when he was a little guy, that was his attitude. Okay? Have you ever watched children play? It's fascinating. The world is just so full of possibilities. Their imaginations are you can't stop them. They're just on fire. I mean, they have tea parties with no tea, right? And they know exactly what they're going to be when they grow up, and they're just, it's like, it's all possible. But then what starts happening, just like Lindsay said, you know, life starts lifing at you, you get some unreliable input, maybe from some authority figures, or a friend teaches you about something or other, and then you start kind of diminishing what you believe about yourself, and you really can wind up, you know, with some pessimistic beliefs. On top of that, you've got the 24-hour news cycle, and so much that is coming at us so constantly that's negative, that you really have to be on purpose about trying to not be negative. You have to replace it with something. So, you know, if I tell you, you can't just say don't be negative. That's like saying don't think about a pink elephant. And you all thought about a pink elephant, right? So you have to replace it with something positive. Leaders are readers. And I promise you, this will change your life. If you spend 15 minutes a day putting good stuff in. You know, there's so many wonderful, Tony Robbins, Brendon Burchard, Napoleon Hill, so many, the scriptures. You know, 15 minutes a day where you are taking the time to put the good stuff in so that the negative can be replaced and stay out. Very important. All right, we also want to duplicate confidence in what it is that we have to offer. So many people take the attitude that I need people in my business. Well, let me ask you something. Who needs who? Because, you know, many people's lives look like this. At 7 o'clock in the morning, all across the world, alarm clocks are going off, and people are swearing and wanting to throw them at the wall. And then they scrape themselves off the mattress, and they stumble into the shower, and then they crawl to the tin can with wheels for that commute, you know, that they're not getting paid for, to a job that they probably settled for, working with people they probably wouldn't choose as friends. You know, I'm going to digress. I once had to do a presentation for somebody who worked in this, like in a corporation, and there were these cubicles and everything, and I walked in with another guy that was my network marketing friend, and I whispered to him, I said, I think I just do up and swallow it. Just the idea of that, Anyway, then you got for the commute in reverse, right? And then maybe they stop off on the way for some fast food, they pick up a couple of beers so that they can sit back and watch some reruns and forget the desperation of their lives, only to have the whole cycle start again the next day. Okay, so let me ask you, who needs who? They need you. You offer the solution. You offer great health. You offer freedom. Pardon me, from all that, why do you think people in that situation celebrate Friday? It's like the slaves have been freed. Right? But it's going to happen again Monday. Oh crap, here it comes. So what if you could have a choice every day to do what you love to do, and it can create freedom? And you can get up at 11 if you wanted to. That's right. Like I do. The system is very important in duplication. It's got to be something that anybody can do. Anybody, any age, any level of education. I kind of always say, it's got to be able to fit from jail to Yale, right? Because it can't be about how smart you are, right? If I'm the smartest guy on my team, team's in trouble. I want to look for people who are smarter than me, who have other talents than I have. You may have your special monkey dance that you do. You may do this unique, thing you do is very, very special, and people are joining your business like crazy. But what if you stopped? If you stop doing the special monkey dance, do people keep joining your business? Does your business grow? Because I promise you, not everybody on your team has the same talents that you do.
Oh my.
So the thing is, it's not, when you're looking at something that you're doing in your business, to build your business, the question about that activity can't be, does this work? Okay, because there's a lot of things that work. The question has to be, does it duplicate? That is the most important question. And I'll tell you, if anybody's got a glass of water, I'm up here dying, so that would be great. If somebody wants to run one up. But there was a guy in my previous business. I'm up here, thank you. Thank you, God bless you. Okay. There was a guy in my previous business who was a very successful guy, very wealthy guy, and he did very well. He made $1 million plus in my previous business, but at first what he did, and I told him not to do it, but he bought billboards along the freeway. So he bought like 5 billboards at $10,000 a crack each billboard. And do you think people joined his business? Sure. Oh yeah, no, people did. They called, they joined, called this number. But then what's his duplication model? Okay, so I'll tell you what you do. You spend $50,000 on the signs on the freeway, and just make sure they're in a different place than my signs. So, it worked, but it didn't duplicate. So that's a very, very important question. If you want to look at a system that really, really works, I don't recommend their food, but think about this. McDonald's is run by 17-year-olds. How is it not out of business? Because they have a great system. They teach these people the system. They know what time the store opens, they know the temperature of the store, they know when to dip the fries, they know what kind of meat to buy, they know what to say to the customers, and it's plug and play. And that's what this should be. It's really very simple if you use the system. So my rule on my team is if your lips are moving, your finger is pointing to a tool. You want the tool to do the talking because the tool will give a professional presentation, logically laid out, every single time. And you don't have to be the expert, because if you sound like an expert, if you're up there talking about phenylalanine and how it's an acetylcholinesterase uptake inhibitor and it'll help your brain and it's in black fluency, your people are looking at you and going, well, that's really cool that Paul knows all that stuff, but he probably had to go to medical school to learn it. I don't have that kind of time, so this is not a business for me. So you let the tool do the talking. and you let the system do the duplicating, because your distributor is watching everything that you do. From the minute you start, your prospect is watching everything that you do from the minute you start talking, and they are assuming that what you are doing is the business. That's the business. I'm watching Paul do the business. So keep it simple, keep it duplicable. I'm so proud that I learned that word because I did say duplicatable before. Okay. Make everything that you're doing what you want duplicated. Also, you want to duplicate the right posture. And by posture, I mean attitude when you talk to people. The attitude that I like to think about is quiet confidence, right? It's not hyper hype talk. And have you ever noticed when you lean forward, if you're leaning forward and somebody's talking to you, what do they usually do?
Lean forward.
They lean back. If you lean back, they lean forward. Do you want to know my magic phrase that I always use when I call somebody? It's my lean back statement, and it's a posture statement. But here's what it is. It's like, Bob, this may or may not be something for you, but knowing you, I think you love it. And I honestly think you could be great at it. But see, I let them off the hook. And that gives them the emotional space to lean forward and be a little curious because they know I'm not going to do this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The right kind of posture. Okay, you also want to duplicate the proper time allocation. I gotta tell you, I have heard, not ever from this stage, but in other companies, I have heard people stand on the stage and say, oh, you can build a business in 2 to 4 hours a week. Nah, not so much. Okay. If you want to create a retail business, if you want to earn a little extra money, sure. But if you're trying to build a big business in network marketing, it's 10 to 15 hours part-time. Okay, well, that's a couple of hours a day. That's not a lot. Then the question also becomes, and this is a very important distinction, what are you spending that time doing? Because the difference between people who are broke in network marketing and people who make a lot of money is what they do in that time. And if what you're doing is obsessively checking your back office every 5 minutes, or constantly calling your front line to hype them on how excited you are, or rearranging your product stock, or any of that stuff, there's a place for all that. But if that's what you're spending all your time doing, that's not a money-making activity. There are only 2 money-making activities in our entire industry. Show the product, show the business. That's it. The fortune is in the show. And the more you show the product, show the business, show the product, show the business, rinse and repeat, then the better you're going to do in this industry and in this company. So what does that look like? That's calling somebody to invite them to look at a video or to some sort of a tool. That is certainly using the app. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I was a diamond elite in this business, and I had 1,500 people on my team in Norway before I had ever given a meeting, not one. Now, I love meetings, I recommend them, but this industry really and truly has changed. It was all done with the app and 3-way calls and Messenger on Facebook. Now, we're going to start laying out our plan for some more meetings. Isn't that interesting how much our industry has morphed? It was very different in my previous company because Facebook didn't exist, Skype didn't exist, Zoom didn't exist, smartphones didn't exist, apps didn't exist. Now they do. So, like Paul Hickey said, pivot. Really, if you are a little intimidated by technology, don't be. I'm as old as you are, trust me. so don't be. It's also, giving one-on-one presentations or inviting people to use the company's standard presentation. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Use the great tools that the company produces, and then everybody can do that. And if that's what the duplication looks like, then those results are going to be fantastic. Okay, one of the great things that you can do as far as time management is on the weekend, take 45 minutes to plan your next week. Okay, so let's see, Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to, just block out the time and make that sacred time. Let your family know it's going to look like I'm home, but I'm working, okay? And I'm working because of this why that we all want, okay? Co-opt them into your process so that they understand what you're doing, but block out that time because if you don't, then life's going to happen to you. And it's going to happen to you anyway, and you're probably going to have to rearrange some of that time. But if you don't have a plan, then you're just kind of at sea, if that makes sense. Okay, you also want to duplicate the right expectations, the right ratios. One of the most comforting things to me about this industry is it's not voodoo, it's not magic, and it's not luck. It truly is statistics, and statistics are a science. Did anybody here take statistics in college? Okay, so in my statistics class in college, the professor looked at the room and said, okay, there's about 300 people in here. That means that there were this many people born on this day. And more or less, that was the case. So that's comforting. Most people think, oh gosh, I just don't know if I could ever do this. If you talk to enough people, you will get enough of the right answers. And I guarantee you, this is the one thing I can guarantee you, if you will do that and not quit, you will wind up with an enormous business. It's just a fait accompli. But you have to understand the numbers. So at first, most people think, I got these 5 perfect people. I'll call these 5 perfect people, and then I got my business is done. And then without any training, they run to those 5 people and keep their business all over, and they all say no, and they go, oh, I quit, this is business for me. You need people. You don't need any particular people. And there are not 5 perfect people in the world for your business. So it's just talking to people. Now, if you talk to 10 people, if you're pretty new at network marketing, I would say maybe 3 will listen until you pick up some skills, right? And then maybe your ratios change. But let's say 3 people join your business. Then you have to understand, one's going to quit, one's going to just eat product, and one's going to do something from small to big, and we're not quite sure what that is yet. So you have to understand those numbers so that you can be real about them, so that you have the proper ratios yourself. Does that make sense? So just work within those numbers. Understand those numbers. Keep turning the crank. I always compare it to turning a crank, like you're making sausage. I put meat in here, I turn the crank, sausage comes out. And I don't get too emotional about making sausage. Network marketing can be very emotional. If you have somebody join your business on Monday, and then on Friday somebody says, no, I can't come to the meeting. Well, if you're excited and ecstatic on Monday, and on Friday you want to sit in the dark room and open a vein, you're going to burn out, aren't you? So you kind of have to stay in the middle and understand these ratios. Okay. You also have to duplicate the proper balance between talking about the business and talking about the product. They're both valid approaches, okay? But in our company, we've got such great products. The temptation is just to always talk about the product, and it helps so-and-so. Oh, you have an aching knee, let me tell you about this. And so that's called a bottom-up approach, okay? What will happen is that person may become a customer, or they may just join with one little box or something, but it's going to take them a while. Maybe it might take them 2 to 3 months, and then it starts dawning on them. Wait a minute, this is pretty cool. Maybe this could be a business for me. But now think about duplication. If everybody that joins your business is going to take 3 months to decide to do it, it's going to take a lot longer. Yeah. Right? Right. Nothing wrong with customers and talking product. Our product's amazing and fantastic, and it works. But if all you're doing, it boils and then you join. Okay? But if all you're doing is talking about the benefits of the product and then talking all about the science, don't be surprised if all you get is customers, right? And then, oh God, nobody wants to do the business. Well, did you talk about business? We're going to talk about how to talk about business here. So, even when you're talking about product, you can frame it in terms of business. So you can talk about how exclusive these products are. You can only get them from distributors. They're patented, they're protected. The market is enormous and growing. Think about how many people are looking for the solution that you just found, even from a customer standpoint. Okay, so now a top-down approach is where you're on purpose, you're looking for people to do the business with you. And if you really want to grow your business fast, you got to find those people that want to do it with you, because you're going to need some generals, right? You need some other generals like you that will lead the efforts of the foot troops, the foot soldiers. Because not everybody wants to be a general, okay? But you need those. It actually requires the same amount of energy. It's the same process to get a general as it is to get a foot soldier. It's the same thing. It's just that the focus is just slightly different. You are on purpose looking for business-minded types, right? So, pardon me. What you want to do is you want to find your elite pack mindset, right? So many times we're afraid to approach people who we might consider more successful than us, or we perceive them as, oh, I can never talk to him. Why on earth would you discriminate against your most successful friends? Why on earth wouldn't you bless them with this and let them say yay or nay? You never know. I'm Stacy, where are you? Okay, there's my friend Stacy. I met her at a conference a few weeks ago. Stacy owns Stacy owns an enormous construction business in Washington, D.C. Now, if I had heard that, and I said to myself, oh, well, she's too successful. She never want to do network marketing. She wouldn't be here, but she is. Okay, so don't be afraid to recruit. We call it recruiting up. Here's the thing. Most of us want to stay in our comfort zones, right? And so if you were to ask the average person, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, like, considering your abilities and your talents and kind of your success, what would you say, where would you say you landed? Most people would say, I think I'm a solid 7, sometimes 8, right? So what happens is the 7 then goes, and to stay comfortable, they go recruit what they consider their 6s, right? But that 6 doesn't consider himself a 6, he considers himself a 7. He's now going to go talk to his 6s, which are your 5s, right? Who considers himself a 7. Who's going to talk to his 6s, which are your 4s. And pretty soon you're doing one-on-one presentations at the local prison. Recruit up. All right. So this is what these are the attributes that you're looking for in a general. Somebody's going to march along with you. You want somebody who's got good self-esteem and won't just melt the first time somebody says no. You want people who are goal-oriented. They're entrepreneurial. They think, just like Lindsay was saying, she had to change her mindset from that employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset. Entrepreneurs, if they bump into something, some problem, they find a way over, around, under, or through it, right? An employee kind of wants to be told what to do. They're assertive. They take responsibility for their results. They look in the mirror in the morning and say, good morning, boss, right? Open to new opportunities, action takers. They're decisive, they're determined, and just not the opposite of all of that. That's what you're looking for in your generals. Now, when you're talking business, then the follow-up, these are some business points that I like to talk to business people about. I'm not going to talk about AP needs to a business person, all right? I'm going to use business language, business terms. I want to paint the right picture of this business as a business. So I'm going to let them know that these are exclusive products. You can only get them from distributors. This company is first to market. It's a category creator in this space. There are 17 patents that protect these products. Now, why are all these things important to a business person? Because it protects their opportunity and it shows them the scope of their opportunity. I'm going to tell them that the products are all scientifically verified because that gives you credibility, and a business person would worry about that. I'm going to talk to them about the company growth pattern. This is a company that's grown every single year of its existence. We're not trying to prove that the company's going to grow. We're not trying to prove that the products work. It's proven. And you have a virgin opportunity without the danger of most virgin opportunities, if that makes sense. There's minimum risk. Anybody who owns a business in here understands the liability that you have, what's on the line, whether that's employees, inventory, any of that stuff. It's a lot more than what it costs to join a network marketing company in our business. The worst thing that can happen to you if you get into RAIN is that you're going to be a little healthier and you're going to eat some Solent pork. That's about the worst damage that can be done to you. So the startup costs are very, very minimal compared to average businesses. But you have unlimited possibilities for expansion and you have a global reach. You have a global business so that tonight, while you're sleeping, people in Norway are buying your product. That's pretty cool if you think about it. And you're not limited by your local economy. The timing, going from small to big, We are in that window where companies go boom. It's usually between 50 and $100 million, and we did about 70 last year. So we're right there. Would you want to be in a company before it goes boom or after it goes boom? Before, for sure, right? Leverage. The average person, doesn't really have leverage in their life, and it's very expensive to get it. You have to have millions of dollars in the bank to be able to live off of passive income. Or you could maybe buy, income property, apartment buildings, things like that. The average person can't do that, and the average person can tell a story about a product that helped them and about a business that they're in, and they can leverage the time and efforts of other people. So leverage is a very, very important concept in our business. No set hours. You can do this, on your own schedule, and it operates 24/7 around the globe. It's a win-win business model. And somebody else talked about this, but if you're in a corporate job, nobody cheers when you walk in the door. Nobody goes, "Oh, yay, Paul's here. Let's help him get the promotion." But that's exactly what happens here. Everybody says that because my success depends on your success. And I have to help you get that. Because if I don't, then I don't win. I call it, self-interested benevolence. And that's really what it is. But it's a win-win business model. That's attractive to business people. Immediate tax savings. Gosh, now you have a home-based business. You can write off part of your house. Your mileage is deductible. Go to dinner and say rain. That's deductible. Go on vacation and say rain. That's deductible. Talk to your tax accountant. I'm not one, but there's a lot of Okay. Also, the freedom. I gotta tell you, I owned a big design business. But I'll tell you what was the dirty little secret about anybody here who owns a business knows this. I didn't own my business owned me. I was the first guy in, the last guy out, I was the last guy paid, and people would call me at 2 in the morning. So my business really did own me. Here, you don't have those same handcuffs on. You have no employees, you have no buildings to maintain, you have no liability, you don't have to do the bookkeeping. You have no traditional overhead. Okay. You also want to duplicate the proper attitude towards the packages, all right? What's the first question that somebody asks you when they see there's several options to join? So which one did you choose? And then they'll say, okay, that's what I'll do too. I'll do that too, all right? So if you want everybody to join with one box, you join with one box. If you want everybody to join with an elite pack, you join with an elite pack. It only makes sense. And if you want to duplicate with bigger packages, you have to lead the charge. And as you're going through the packages of people, I always tell them, why I chose what I chose. Now, when I got in, it was the gold package, and that's what I chose. And I let them know the advantages of that. Now we have the new pack. So excited. We have auto volume back. Yeah! So I want to tell people the advantages of all that. The larger packages allow you to sample more. They allow you to have product at meetings. They allow you to rotate product, right? So if I sign somebody up in my town, I can say, I tell you what, here's a couple of boxes from my stash. You take them today, you can get going. Just give me them back when you get your box or your shipment. Now I've cut 3 days out of that duplication cycle. I can start now, right? So is it important to have a little extra product on hand? You bet, for rotation. For personal use, you gotta use all the products, right? You gotta be a product of the product. And then auto volume is why I chose the larger package. It really and truly does change the psychology of the person who comes in with a larger package. I don't ever want somebody to endanger their finances. I don't want them to do something that's going to put their family in danger. But I do tell people, look, just do something that's slightly a reach for you, slightly uncomfortable, because tomorrow morning when you wake up, you're going to take this a lot more seriously if you have skin in the game. That only makes sense. All right. You want to duplicate the proper product consumption. Now, you can't really, it's out of your control what your volume is, other than you recruiting and teaching other people to recruit. But here's something that you can do to kind of set the standard is your own product consumption, right? If we make a product, there is no reason on earth that you should be buying a similar product from anybody else. Buy from your own store, right? And buy a lot. I like to have product around my house, in my house. I want people to see me using that product. And I want to use a lot of product because my story gets better. If I have a story to tell, that is a nuclear weapon in my arsenal. So I can't wait to get on that probiotic myself, right? Also, think about it. Isn't it kind of ridiculous for you to say to somebody, you should be on auto ship for that product? I'm not, but you should be.
Huh.
You know, that doesn't make sense, right? Don't be stingy with samples. Sometimes people want to kind of increase their bottom line by not giving away as much product. Mistake. It's going to duplicate out in your business. Everybody's going to do. They're going to watch your example. So that's a real mistake. The more product that you get out there, it works for you, right? It's an investment in your business. So be generous with samples, and then don't cry poor and cut back. Look, if you're making $500 a month in the business, and it's like just your part-time, it's your funny money, okay, I get it, right? But if you're trying to build a big business and you're making $500 a month, there's no reason you should be trying to live off of that. You should be reinvesting that money in your business. I mean, you shouldn't be saying, I can't be on a $2 auto ship or a $4 auto ship. That's your business. Invest in your business. And then how many times have you heard somebody ask this question? Well, what's the minimum auto ship I can do? When has anybody ever done anything phenomenal or fantastic asking, what's the least I can do? Right? So I try to help people understand, look, we need to change that attitude just a little bit so that you understand what the game really is, okay? You want to duplicate that out. You also want to duplicate out doing the right thing, okay? Always do the right thing. This is a business of trust. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten an email that said, hey, you know what, there's this mid-level PIN guy. He's not happy with his sponsor, and he says he'll sign up his wife on our team because he really wants to work with you. Don't do it. That's an automatic no, because you want to know why? If they're willing to do something dishonest with you, they're willing to do something dishonest to you.
Yes.
And trust is the basis of our business. If you lose trust, you're dead in the water. Just always do the right thing and let that be the culture of your business. Well, look, we want everybody to wind up on that side of the time and money continuum. Our first obligation to our team is to become successful ourselves. Because there has to be an original for there to be a duplicate. Success is really what begets freedom, right? But success never goes on sale. And freedom certainly isn't free. You've got to pay the price. And you have to understand the game of duplication. So, just commit to your business. Have that dream, have that goal, and let it be non-negotiable. So lead, follow, or get the freak out of my way because this is what I'm doing, right? And it's non-negotiable. This is where I'm going. Use duplication to get there. And once you're successful, your tribe will follow. When they see, and by success, I don't mean you're a diamond. I mean, you had a win today, right? You had a win, and tomorrow you'll have a win. And you just keep moving towards those goals. That is success. And your team is going to see that, notice it, and follow it. So imagine what could happen next if you just apply the principles of duplication. So get out there, duplicate, and make it rain.
I'm called Ilana Mazina. I work as a shift manager. Before I started in Musana, I was in a bad condition because I had nothing to do. I was just sitting at home. And Musana has made me good. I'm feeling happy. I can buy whatever I want. I pay school fees for my children. Now I am feeling okay. I'm so excited because Royal International has done a lot of things for us. They bought a land and they have built for us a house where we are going to be sitting when we are working. So we thank them very much.
right. Next up, we've got a special guest who's actually come quite a ways to be here. And it's my pleasure to bring up a good friend of mine, a guy that I've spent a lot of time with over the past few months as we've been traveling around in Mexico, building Mexico and getting that team started. And he's done a lot of work. He's actually been with the company about 2 years now. Was one of the pioneers of Mexico, and I thought it'd be pretty important to bring him up today and have him have the chance to talk to you guys about some of the things that he's done, starting, from being the first guy in, so to speak, because we're all in that situation. Some of us, we're kind of doing this for the first time, and I think it's important that we hear from somebody like that. So it's my pleasure to bring up El Rey de Monterrey, Señor Pablo Ayala.
Okay, this is gonna be in Spanish, so I hope that everybody remember his high school classes. Well, this is the first time that I do a presentation in English, so I hope it's going to be pretty good. So what happened? We opened about a year and a half ago in Mexico. It was a little bit difficult. We didn't have any product at the beginning, but I tried to put something that we did in the beginning. First of all, I tried to find the right partner. The other one will come along. My right partner was the one that is going to be with me every day. The one that is my soulmate or core mate. Is the one that you're going to cry with. Because sometimes nobody shows up.
Yeah.
Is the one that you're going to celebrate with. Because sometimes one shows up. Is the one that you're going to be there to support. Is the one that you're going to do business with. What I try to make a point with this is I need somebody with me because sometimes it's difficult to start a country when you're alone, nobody with you. Maybe it's the same thing in your city. You are alone in the city, it's a small town. So you need your soulmate. You need somebody to help you, to be with you, to start doing the business. As I heard Paul, my tocayo, he has a really big organization. But I was alone, starting my own business. I have just one, 18 months experience. I was in a skin care company. So I didn't know a lot of things about this business. I love this one. Because sometimes, or a lot of times, nobody shows up. But this is a one-to-one business. You need to be doing your business every day with 1 or 2 or 3 persons a day. We do small meetings. We get together in coffee shops, at home, in clubs. Somebody invites somebody. It doesn't matter the size of the audience, as I told you. One person brings another one. The business grows one by one every day. The thing about this is to bring people every day, one person a day. And if everybody does that every day, everything is gonna be fine for your business. You need to do it the same hour. What we do is, we do in a coffee shop, the same day, the same hour. So if you cannot make it this Monday at 5 o'clock, we're gonna be next Monday at 5 o'clock. So there's no excuse. Every partner should bring one guest, and everybody needs to be there and show up. but you need to do it. Do it, and do it. Small meetings, one-on-one meetings, 10 people in a meeting, it doesn't matter. You need to do it every day, every single day. Once you start growing, you're gonna have one meeting here, another part of the town or country, you're gonna have another meeting, but it's gonna be the same. The catch is to share with everybody, every day. I don't remember who, Paul, I don't know who, somebody was telling about a story in the train. We went to eat to another restaurant, it was the same. The waitress, the host, everybody. So you need to do it every day, every day. It doesn't matter if it's a party, a coffee shop, a meeting, somebody in the elevator, somebody in the front desk, it doesn't matter. We do webinars. I think this is really strong tool. Why? Because technology brings everybody close, everybody together. They are so easy to do. A lot of webinar companies have their free version. You can have a webinar with 50 people for almost an hour for free. So we try to do webinars every Monday at 9 o'clock. And every Sunday at 9 o'clock we have a training for our teammates. This is not good for opportunity meetings, for training, for announcements. At the beginning, we did it once a week. Today we're doing every weekday. Every weekday, 9 o'clock. The good thing about this is I used to do it by myself. Now I have 5 teammates that they do it every day. So you start sharing and somebody start doing the business for you or with you. These are some pictures of our webinars. Maybe you can find one webinar with maybe 6 people in there, maybe 30, maybe 60, it doesn't matter. The thing is to do it every day, or every weekday, whatever. We'll start doing webinars. I think for us it was really powerful because we were 150 million people in Mexico, 120 million people in Mexico. We are in Monterrey, North Mexico. We have somebody in South Mexico, somebody in Tijuana, somebody in Veracruz. So it's difficult to go there to start a business. So with webinars, everything gets together. Then the app arrives. And everything changes. It's a superb tool that's free for us, and it's so easy to use. So even though you don't speak Spanish, you can send a video for somebody that only speaks Spanish. Even though you don't speak English, you can send a video to somebody that you just met in the restaurant. So the app is really wonderful. It's so easy to use. You just download it. I tried to watch the tutorial video to know what to do. So this is really easy for everybody, every new teammate. Then I tried to watch all videos to try to choose my favorites. This is for business, this is for doctors, this is for ladies, whatever. You have your videos. You can also change the text, right? So I have my own text in my phone, and I just erase and paste. So I can do it right away. And try to do it really small to focus on the video. You can start using it right away. Send a video to a friend or 2 a day. I think that's the main secret. If you have 10 teammates and they send 2 videos a day, it's 20. If you have 20, it's 40. So it's gonna duplicate really easy. Try to do that, and also you need to do it in order for your teammates to do what you are doing. The results are amazing. We were with Casey in Monterrey, and we did an exercise. Everybody download their app, And he asked us to send 15 videos to 15 different people. And the first one that get an answer is gonna have a box of pen, whatever. So everybody was crazy. We don't have pen in Mexico, okay? So everybody was crazy, sending videos and videos and videos and videos. And 3 minutes later, I have an answer. And that lady, it has been with us for almost a year. She only had one teammate and like 3 customers. But she shows up and shows up and shows up. Well, that day, she sold 3 boxes of soap. So it's amazing if you start using it. And I'm 58, and a lot of 60, 70 people, years old people, told me, I don't get along with technology. You need to start doing that. In Mexico, we use a lot of WhatsApp, so download WhatsApp. And you send videos all day long. Oh, this is cute. Let's send it. Try to do that with your own business, and it's gonna grow. I like this. You are good. The system is really good too. When you combine both, you can conquer the world. And really, this is true. I'm here, 1.5 years later, talking to you. So try to dream big, use the app, and it's gonna go your way. Also, we're one big family. At the beginning in Mexico, we have another group, other teammates, and we were trying to ask them for help, but no, they were another line. So, if you start building your team, don't forget to help members of other teammates or other teams, because sooner or later you're gonna need their help. And I think that's the right way to grow, is to help everybody, even though they are your teammates or not your teammates. It feels great to help everybody to grow. And remember, this business is all about helping other people. It's not where you start, it's where you finish that counts. That's really powerful. And RAIN is simple as this. 2 that gets 2. I don't know if it's simple, if it's easy, whatever, but we need to do this. And we need to help our teammates to get their 2. And that's a free box also. And that's the way you start building your business. So you need to start doing the simple things. Send a video, shut up your mouth. 3-way calls. Do it again, and again, and again. I think with this company, as I told you, I only have like 18 months. Well, right now 3.5 years experience. Every day I get a phone call from somebody, join my company. We give you this, we give you that. But I think this is by far the best company. Focus on the last one, great leadership. That should be number 1. We have great leadership. You cannot imagine, I don't know if I'm willing to say this or not, we're like 14 people from Mexico to travel to use it to be here. Casey opened their house to us. And because we work too much, their parents also need to open the house. We are a 6-year-old company, We have our own proprietary blends. 17 patents. 17 patents. New products every year. We haven't sold the best product. I think in Mexico with our team, we only have used one warranty. Can you imagine that? 18 months, just one box return. That's tremendous. We are in the right industry. Everybody wants to feel better. Everybody wants to eat better every day. We are category creators. That's also really strong. I think as if I were inviting you to a company where they give pink Cadillacs in the 60s. The future is tremendous. I don't know if you remember in school in economics the S curve. We are short of $100 million a year in sales in our 6th year. We're just starting. This is going to grow that you cannot imagine. The future is really, really, really great. Rain is in the red dot over there, and we're going to grow and grow and grow and grow. So you should be here. This is really powerful. Another sir. But I tried one more time. I have cried. I have been really disappointed. But I tried one more time. One more time. So a winner is just a loser who tried one more time. Can you please stand up? Sorry. Lunch. Please repeat after me. I can do this. No. I can do this. I can do this. Perfect. Gracias.
You already do that on your own. Reading tweets, tweeting about tweets you read, reading responses to your tweet about tweets you read. 3 minutes wasted, scrolling. Stopping to read a post about nothing. 45 seconds gone, scrolling. Landing on photo of Sunday, a photo of a dog, a photo of a cat, a photo of a person taking a photo of themselves, a selfie, another selfie, like the selfie, comment on the selfie, comment on the comment of the selfie, like the comment of the comment on the comment of the selfie, take a selfie, wait for validation on your selfie, 10 minutes wasted, scroll. How did she afford to go to Dubai? Be jealous for 30 seconds, be jealous for 30 more seconds, another minute gone, and now you're in a bad mood, so you search. Dogs doing cute things, kids calling, babies eating lemons, birdies singing the national anthem. That's a total of 44 minutes and 45 seconds. Is this how you want to spend your life? Like a couch potato, like a drone, like a robot, like a robot on repeat, like a robot.
guilty, right? You sit around, you're like, man, what the heck? What just happened? Right? We've all done it. I mean, don't kid yourself, right? So, I appreciate what's going on today. You guys are the leaders that have spoken and get it. I mean, honestly, give them a good hand. There we go, right there. So, guys, people have been asking me all weekend, Casey, we're here that things are happening in Mexico. What are you doing? How's it working? What have you done? And I, you know, when the kind of the changes were happening with the executive team, I got put into, you know, a little bit more in charge of working with the field. And, you know, there's things that we do at corporate sometimes, and as you guys have been in, you know, other companies, or even been, you know, business owners in of your own, and you've asked people to do things, you know, sometimes you kind of question, okay, is this really working? Is this really going to do what I'm going to ask them to do, right? And so what I decided to do when this happened is to just push pause and myself go out and try to use this app and see if it really actually produced results, right? Because that's what we're teaching everybody. We're teaching all you guys and trying to duplicate a system. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to see if this really works. So what I decided to do was call somebody, a friend of mine, who has no experience whatsoever in network marketing. In fact, he's a young kid, right? And he's a cowboy, he's a jockey, lives in a small town, a little more than 8, right? A little more than 8, but not very big. Not very big, and just kind of in southern Utah. And, you know, being a jockey, he works really hard. And he's up in the morning real early, feeds the horses, works horses, he's on the road quite a bit, has to get back in the evening to feed again, put everything to bed, and he's got a young family, and so on and so forth. So I called him up and I asked him, I said, hey, his name's Chewy. I said, Chewy, what do you do? What are your plans? Like, do you like what you're doing? And he loves what he does, right? He loves his job. And I said, well, what happens if, you know, something happens to you and you get hurt? What are you going to do? And, you know, he didn't really think about that. And, you know, and I said, well, you know, you've got a kid, you know, he just recently had a baby a couple weeks ago. And, you know, all these things now all the thoughts started flowing through his head, like a lot of us. What are we going to do? Like Mike talked about, if I lost my job today, what would happen? How am I going to make it? And it became real. And so I said, look, I can help you. And I've got something that I want to introduce you to. And let's see how this goes. Kind of in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this is our trial, right? But I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. You know how to send a text, right? And he's like, yeah, I know how to send a text. And I said, perfect. I'm going to come and meet with you. And this was a Friday. I'm going to drive down. I'm going to meet with you face to face. I'm going to show you a little bit about how to use this tool. Okay? Is that cool? And he's like, yeah, that's great. So I did. I went down there Friday. We went through this tool. I showed him how to do this. And we talked about how, and kind of our game plan on how to use this app. And I said, here's what I need though. I need you to be able to give me 30 names. That's it, 30. Okay? And we're going to send one video, the same video, over and over and over to these 30. Can you do that? And he said, yeah, absolutely, I can do that. And I said, okay, we're going to start doing this on Monday. I don't want you to do it over the weekend because why? People are gone on Saturdays. Sundays are kind of family times for a lot of people. So Monday, we're all back to work and we're working. So I said, send it on Monday. And then if anybody replies, this is what we're going to do. Okay? You're going to invite them to a conference call. Okay? And he's in Spanish, so we ended up having to do 2. We had to do a Spanish one and an English one. And I said, you know, okay, when they respond, they're going to have questions. They're going to say, what's this about? What's seed nutrition? What's, you know, are you really doing this? All these kinds of things, right? You're going to hear them. And I said, just send them to the call. Send them to the call, and we'll explain everything on the call. So this was Monday. He starts sending these texts. People do exactly like what I thought. They started to respond because they're his friends. They're his family. They're like, what is this about? Right? We start responding, and we send them to the call. Just like I said, he just texts them back. Here's the number. Jump on the call, and then we're going to go through this, you know, on Tuesday. So Tuesday night, we schedule the call. He sends out his 30 texts, okay, on that call, we had 8 people, right? So, not bad, right? Not bad, okay? He thought he did horrible because he's never done it before. He thought all 30 were supposed to get on, right? We all know better. But I'm like, hey, you know what? That's okay. I'm not telling him that it's bad or it's good. I just said, you know what? That's all right. It is what it is, and we'll do this call and let's go. So I started just taking him through the opportunity meeting like we always do, you know. And I'm again on the call. I have no. Uh-oh, that's my phone doing that. There's my kids and our dog. All right. So we're going through this. I talked to everybody and I said, okay, look, if you're interested, just text Jesus back. If you have any more questions, and then we'll follow up with you kind of individually, if everyone's okay with that. Bam, turn the call off, and his phone just starts ringing, right? So by the time we get done Tuesday night, right, into Wednesday, we signed up on that, in this time, there was the bigger packs. He ended up making $500 in 2 days doing this. So I realized real quick, I'm like, okay, we got something. Now it's just a question of what Paul's talked about, right? What did he talk about? Duplication, right? Duplication, but not just duplication, but duplicating what? Something simple, right? If it's complicated, it doesn't duplicate, right? And as we just watched in that video, we all do that. We scroll, we look at things, we send pictures to people, we post stuff, right? That's what we do. Why don't we just turn that into a little bit of a business, right? Teach people, hey, instead of doing that, take some time and do this. And that's what we started doing in Mexico. So that story that Pablo, he shared, that really happened. It happened. We went down there, we sat in a meeting, we had about 80 people, and I said, look, guys, enough's enough. We've been talking about a lot of cool things, right? But who wants to know how to make money, right? What do I do, right? This is all great, but what do we do? How do we do this? How do I actually take my contact and turn it into dollars, right? Because as we've been talking about, if we can do more. But we've got to have, and our people need to have. And this is how we're going to do it. So this is what we went through. We went through this in Mexico, showing people step by step, and then we did. Okay? We started texting the exact same things I'm going to show you guys right now. This is all we did. And 3 boxes sold. We had people, hands going up left and right. And in that little meeting of like 80 people, we exposed rain to almost 500. In 15 minutes. This wasn't a long time. We took 15 minutes. But everybody, doing their 10, and their, 15, some of them did 20 because they wanted to win that box of product that he was talking about. But, see, I put the incentive out there because I want people to understand it's not hard. Okay? It isn't hard, it's simple, and we have to be able to get out of our own way because, if we start prejudging people and pre-qualifying people, some of us are like, oh, they'll be a customer, but they'll never do the business, right? Well, if we start into that, we're going to lose a lot of people. So we just send them a video. And so here's what I literally did with Jesus, okay? So if you guys want to know what to go do and what to tell your people when you go home this next weekend, because guess what? We've got that new promotion running. How many do we need? 2, right? What happens when we get our 2? We get an extra 15% on top of all our first order bonuses. Do you think we got some people at home that might be interested in that? Okay, so here's what we do. This is what we do. You know what? Before I keep going, I do want to just thank Brigham. I need to slow down a little bit. Brigham Irieta, he's back there translating. He's one of the distributors, and he's taking his whole entire to help us out. And so I really appreciate that. So here's how this works, guys. This is how it goes. Just this simple. I'm going to click on share. Okay? And it's going to take me to some options. Now, one of the things that we're going to work on is we're going to clean this up a little bit. Because as you can see here, how many options are there? There's a few, right? Okay? But we need to what? Simplify. So we're going to simplify this. So all of you that are here, how do you simplify? This is what I told Jesus. I said, don't forget all the videos. Forget them all. The only one you need to concern yourself with is the first one. It says drink to your health. And it happens to be right at the top, which is kind of convenient, right? So click it and hit share. Okay? And then this message comes up. Okay? You can change it if you want. My recommendation, don't. Right now. We're going to tweak it a little bit on our end. Okay? Just a couple little things that we're going to fix, but leave it alone. Okay? Why? Because if the new person that gets in has to think about what to say, they're now paralyzed again, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So we don't want them to be paralyzed. And like I told Jesus, I said, I know it might not be something that you would normally send somebody, right? But I don't care. The idea is to create a little bit of curiosity so they'll get on the phone call that we had organized on Tuesday night, right? And that doesn't have to be a phone call, guys. It could be an event. It could be a simple meeting at someone's house. It could be, hey, meet me we're going to meet at Starbucks or whatever, right? The important part is we get the person to now do something, the new prospect to engage, so we can, our upline, third party, can start communicating and talking with them, okay? Because that's the key. I mean, the moment that you start pitching your own people and telling them about the new product that just came out, Pure, I mean, guys, we're going to lose them, okay? It doesn't work. I mean, and it was funny too, because even in Mexico, as we were sending these texts out, we had people that got phone calls. And you want to know what they started talking to them? And I literally walked over to a lady and I grabbed her phone. I said, stop, I'm talking. I took over, okay? Because why? Because that's the way that this works. It's not rocket science. This is how we duplicate it, right? I mean, and think about this for 2 seconds. We're running a promotion right now to bring in 2 new people, right? Okay? And those 2 new people, how much time do they have to get their 15%? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. How much are they going to understand about Soul, Core, Bend, Pure, the comp plan, the rain, the rain cycle, in 2 weeks? Nothing, right? So what do you really need to know? Nothing. You need to know how to push buttons. That's literally what we need to know. So this is what I told him. I said, hey, Sush, can you push buttons? Push buttons. That's it. Don't think about this. So he hit next. Okay? And you noticed in there, I don't know if you were reading, but basically what it said, and I'll back up just a minute so you can kind of see this. But literally all we're doing is asking people to what? Be a sampling customer of us, right? I just need, would you be willing to give me your opinion, try a sample out, and give me, $20 for the sample? I mean, is that really a whole lot to ask of somebody, right? Not really, especially if they're our friends and family. Now, is anybody scared or feel bad about asking someone for $20 for Soul? Right? No, there's not one. It works, right? We know that they need it. So we'll just send this out. We'll say, hey, would you be willing to do this for me? And as John Presky showed us today, our contact list that we have to have, and a lot of you guys that have been in the industry a long time, okay, our number one biggest challenge has always been getting the names list together. It was like pulling teeth, okay? But it's already in our phone. So why don't we just leverage the names list, right? It's already there. So here's my names list. I'm going to click here. And you guys are all going to see my wife's phone number, but you know what? Like I said, we have people staying in our house. You guys are all welcome. So here's my wife's information, right? I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to send her a message. Now, I'm going to send it to her the normal way that I communicate with her, right? If I communicate with her in WhatsApp all the time, that's great. But if I don't communicate with my friend that way or this prospect, I should probably keep doing texts or however I communicate with them, right? My wife happens to use WhatsApp all the time because when I'm overseas, we communicate this way. So I hit WhatsApp, and now it's going to take me to this. Is this an important step?
Yeah.
Okay? This is the key. What does this do if we send this out? What good is it even actually if we don't follow up? It's a waste of time actually, right? We might as well scroll and watch monkeys dance on the, online, right? Okay, so I'm going to hit follow up in 24 hours. Now here's my message, right? That it's going to post. So I'm going to say I'm going to start it with WhatsApp. And it literally is going to take me to my WhatsApp group. Okay, and you can see some of the people that I have there, so I'm going to search for my wife. Okay, and she's right there. I'm just going to hit next, I'm going to hit send, and it's going to put the message right into my WhatsApp, or into my text, or into Facebook Messenger, or whatever that communication tool is that you use. It's going to put that information right there. So I just hit here, I just go send. Okay, and now what's going to happen, and she's been trained, so we'll see how well she responds. Every time I send this, I say, hey, make sure you respond, right? So she probably will, honestly. Okay, so I'm going to just come back here to my app and we'll kind of hang tight for a sec, but I'm sure she'll respond. If she doesn't, we'll just keep moving. I'll show you some other things. But that's it. Was that hard? How long did that take, other than me kind of talking about some of the tools? Probably less than, you could probably cruise through that after a couple times in 20 seconds, right? And that's it, guys. That's what Jesus did. Because who's really ultimately responsible for presenting? Is it the new person doing the inviting, or is it the upline? Right? It's the upline. So really the work is on the upline, right? To make sure that the calls are happening and that we're following back up with these people and giving the right information. So now, Jesus did his job, right? Now it's Casey's turn to do his job, which is get on the meeting, make the phone calls, make sure that we're following up with the people that we talk to. And guys, that's all he did. And within 48 hours, he made $500. Now, is that going to happen to everybody? No. Okay, no. But it happened to him.
I made $2,500.
It happened to him. It happened to the lady down in Mexico. She started making money within minutes. Okay? Now imagine this. How many do you think we got? A couple hundred people sitting right here, right? Imagine if we just took 15 minutes and everybody sent out 10 invites. Right? How many is that then? Do quick math. 2,000 exposures. 2,000. Do you think we're going to get a couple customers and distributors out of that? Brand partners? I guarantee it. Because why? They've never seen anything like this. Right? And that's what we need to get into our teams. That's the piece that we've got to get into our teams to duplicate. I mean, if you want to move fast, and you want your people to expose people fast, and you want to make money, and you want your people to make money, and you want to go on the trip to Uganda, and you want to go to Mexico, and you want to do these fun things with Rain, guys, this is it. It's exposure, exposure, exposure. And then when people respond back, right, because it's important that we understand this, because as soon as they respond, okay, what is this about? Because I can tell you right now, if we did this right now, and some of you probably maybe even are doing it now, if you start doing this now, your phone's going to get lit up. Okay? And if I'm brand new in the business, and this is what I love about this tool, by the way. If I'm brand new in the business and someone asks me a question like, okay, now what is like Seed Nutrition? What is this? And I really, see? There you go. There you go. See? She knows. Okay? She knows. Trained well. No, she's a great lady. I love my wife, and honestly, she's okay? But I sent that out. There's the message that's saying what? She just visited it. Now here's another one. View. Okay? It's going like crazy. Look at this. Kendra is viewing the video. Right? Is that cool? Okay, what am I going to do now? I'm the new guy, right? I know nothing about Rain. And my upline would have taught me what? Before I call her back, get me on the phone, the upline. Get me on the phone, okay? Or get somebody on the phone. Because we need to be able to answer these questions and be professionals. Like Paul said, this is a business, guys. This is business. This is a professional thing. I know Mike and Neely, and I've been with Pablo, and I've been with Belém, and I've been with, I've watched what Leslie Fahey does, and Mike. I've watched them, guys. They're professionals. They do this professionally and seriously. Okay, we have to be professionals. We need to be able to answer these questions for these new prospects that are coming in in a professional manner. And the only people that are educated enough are the ones that are sitting right here. You guys are learning, that's why we're here, to learn this, because guess who's going to be the upline? You all, right? You're going to be those people. You need to learn this stuff because we're going to then answer these questions. But we're doing it for our prospects. So I would get somebody on the phone, and I've literally done this. I don't pitch my own people. I get somebody else on the phone. Pablo, where did you go, buddy? Did I not call you with Jesus and Savannah on the phone?
Yep.
Okay. I did. Why? I'm an owner of the company. Why would I do that? Because that's what duplicates. If I don't show him how to do it the right way, you think he's going to get me on the phone? No, he's going to try to tell his new friend or his uncle everything about the business, right? And he's not going to have any success. But he did. Somebody said that today, that they did what they were told. I think that was Miss Neely Arms right here, right? She did what she was told. And guys, that's our job with the new people. That's how we're having success in Mexico. That's how Jesus and Savannah were able to earn $500 in 2 days. They just followed the steps, did what they were told. So I've got the message. I know now, as the new prospect, I got to get somebody on the phone, right? And then we'll call them. We'll say, hey, you know, this is what's going on. Or if they all of a sudden say, hey, look, the video's awesome, but tell me more, I'm going to do the same thing. When's the soonest we can get you on the phone with my partner, you know, with my friend? This person, you know, so-and-so knows a lot more about this. I'm kind of new, but I want to make sure that your questions get answered right. Right? So instead of me being like, oh, I don't know anything about this, and dude, I'm sorry, man, this isn't going to work. You know, I give them an opportunity to know that, hey, you know, I'm going to do you a favor and get your questions answered by a professional who knows a lot about this. And I'll just get him on the phone. I'll edify him. Hey, this is my cameraman. He's a good friend of mine, and he's been doing really well in this business. He knows all about this, and you can ask him any questions that you want. And then I stop talking as the new person. So if we train this, guys, if we can train this the right way, rain will quadruple in months, in a month or two, because these exposures are going to go out. I mean, we talk about we want to move, we want to grow, we want to do things. I mean, we've been watching the numbers of Rain, and as people join Rain, okay, one person that joins Rain, we end up usually with about 2 customers, or about 4 customers and 2 distributors within like a 6-month time frame, right? That's what the numbers are. But if we can compress that and show people how to use these tools to go faster, it gets crazy. I mean, 30 text messages really isn't that much if you really start someone right. And then every day, what I tell them after that is just send 2 a day, 2 to 3 a day. And if you really want to go fast, send a few more. But don't send too many that you can't do what? Follow up, right? And a lot of us kind of do that. We get so excited and we tell everybody, and then we can never follow up with them because life happens, right? We get busy. You know, kids are doing things, running around. So I'm going to go back here real quick. So here's Kendra. She's responded now to my message. So we know what we're going to do. I'm going to get them on the phone. If they ask me more questions, this new video right here is awesome. Okay, the different way video. This one just barely got loaded right here in the bottom. That's the one that we watched. It was more about the opportunity. Okay, we're going to continue to fine-tune these things as we go. And here's another thing. Like, I'm going to ask you guys for help, right from the stage. I need your help. If you guys will help us and send these videos out, there's analytics that run behind these videos, right? So, like Kendra, she's watching the video. If she stops at some certain point, I get notified. You get notified and I get notified. And we can start analyzing, okay, is this video, is it powerful? Where are we losing them, right? But if we start doing this, we can start tracking that. We can really sharpen our saws to make sure that we've got the best of the best material in front of people. So we can, again, go faster, right? That's what we want to do. So this video is a good video to follow up. You know, if somebody has a little bit more questions or say, yeah, can you send me a little bit more information on this? Send them that. Okay? Send them that video. It's called, what is it right there? A Different Way is what it's called. And then that'll expose them and show them that, hey, there is an opportunity with this, as well as cool, amazing products that we can use. Okay, so I'm in the tool now, right? That's how I prospect. That's it. That's how we do the business. Now, when I get back in here and I go back to the little house that was up there, you're going to see some other things like prospects, right? And John Kresge did a good job explaining this. If I click on prospects, okay, what I always do is I go sort instantly and I go to recent activity, right? I want to go where it's hot, right? Where the fire is burning. That's who I want to go talk to, who just watched. So I'll click on the name, and there's a little box on the right, okay, and I'm going to click that, and it's going to take me to the information, and you can see I've sent that video out quite a few times, right? Okay, but you can see there that there's information about that person, and they just recently added another cool feature. Let's see, right? Add history. Okay. So if you hit that add history, I can now use this as a customer, relationship management tool to be able to track what I've done. As we're talking about 30 people that the new person's contacting, and we know that the follow-up's important. Did I speak to the prospect? Did I leave a message? Did I have the three-way call? Where am I at? Did I take them a sample? Because again, the message says what? Would you buy a sample, right? Did I do that? You want to know how many samples I've actually had to send out doing this? 3. And I've sent probably hundreds of these. And why? Because when we start talking about it, they have questions, right? They're dealing with the same things that we're dealing with. They're exercising, their bodies are inflamed, they're getting older, their joints are hurting, they've got life happening and back problems, all these things, right? We start talking about some of the benefits of the ingredients of our products, and guys, they want a whole box. They want to try it. Okay, and then I introduce them like this. I said, well, you know what? If you're going to just get a box, I can actually show you how to get it for free. And we all know how to do that, right? It's called a RAIN Partner Team. Okay, 2 get 2, like Pablo discussed. And it feeds into our new plan with the Maker system. I love it because we're going to teach them to get 2 in 2 weeks. Those 2 people have to get their 2 in 2 weeks. What happens when 2 who get 2 in a month? What happens? It's called the RAIN Partner Team in a free box. Guys, it's all tied together. Do you see why we made the enhancements on that, the changes? It's because we need this to go faster. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. Hey, do you want to get involved? Put them in touch with some other people, our uplines, and get them going. So this is a great tool to follow up. Right? I love this piece about it, and John and I were talking about it, and it's just a great tool. So I'm going to back up and show you a couple other things, and then we'll be done here. But one of the things that you're going to see on the events, we're going to start using this event piece a lot more because we want everybody to kind of get consolidated into one area. And the new system, what's great about the new back office that's coming is this and the app are going to be very tied together. So a lot of the information will be running side by side and congruent, which will help us as we communicate with you. What's going on with RAIN? Has anybody ever got like a message from RAIN about an announcement or something that's going on through the app? Right? Okay. So and I tell people when they get started, the first thing that you should do, download the app. Right? Get your shovel. That's your shovel. That's why when you're going to go to work, that's what you need. That's the first thing. So download the app. Now, to make sure that everybody understands how to get the app, right? It's in the App Store. And how to log in, it's super simple. It's the same user ID and the exact same password as your back office login. Okay? It's all linked. Okay? There's an integration that we've done there, so it's tied out. So anybody that asks you, your new people joining, hey, I can't get in, how do I get in? That's how they get in, okay? And if you have questions, you can always, get a hold of customer service and we'll take care of you there too. Okay? So all the events, the event calendar's there. The alerts are key because we can now see who's doing what and what activity is going on. So guys, long and short of the whole thing, how have we helped people move in Mexico? Because like I said, I've been asked a lot. That's how we do it, and then do the meetings. Get them to the events, you know. And as leaders, it's our job to kind of create the platforms and the areas for them to do that, right? Work with those new prospects. Show them how easy it is to go to, freeconferencecall.com and get a free number for a conference call. It's free, But as we start to do that and show these people what the power of a tool is, that's where we're going to finally get free, from time freedom. You talk about, I love what Paul was saying. I mean, he sets his own schedule. The only way to do that, guys, is if you're using tools. Only way. If you start trying to do it all on your own and helping every single person all the time, it gets pretty daunting pretty quick. It does. So use this tool. Understand it. I mean, literally, if you don't know anything else other than how to push the share button, okay, and click on that first video, which I love, okay, this thing, I love this video. It's great. It's funny. It's, it's just a good video, right? You guys have all watched it, okay? This is going to create curiosity, right? It's funny. It's entertaining. But guys, do people want this? Are people doing smoothies? Yes. Are they looking for GMO food? Yes. Do they need gluten-free, fat-free, dairy-free? Yes. Okay? One of the big words is the big buzz is organic. Okay? How much money do people spend on organic food, vegetables versus normal ones? Right? We've all been to the grocery store. Okay? Everyone understands the need here. Okay? They all get it. And as we've traveled around, this is just a cool thing. It's an easy way to expose somebody in a completely non-threatening but a very professional way, in my opinion. And it's a message that duplicates, right? It duplicates. Anybody can get started, and in 2 seconds, we can start getting prospects and start bringing in people, okay? Guys, make it happen. Get out there, tell your people, show them how this business works. It's pushing buttons. We're in a whole new era of network marketing. Honestly, this did not exist even 5 years ago, guys. We are at the forefront. Rain International is at the forefront of these types of tools. And we can do it, thank goodness, because we have sampleable products, okay, that most companies don't have. It's pretty hard to sample a capsule, right? Or even a juice, a big bottle of juice. How are you going to do that, right? We've strategically put these products in forms that we can sample them out. We can create curiosity through cool videos, keep the message easy and concise for our people so they can actually go out and have success. And all they do is share that same message over and over and over and over and over and over. And it's a numbers game. It's really what it is. Some will, some won't. But you know what? Our job is to share. Let them decide, right? Let them decide if they want to be healthy, or healthier. Let them decide if they want to make a little extra money or a lot of money. There's some people in here that have done really well, right? Done really well. So the opportunity's here. It's in front of you, and it's up to you guys. It's back to the whole do. We just got to go out and do. Open our mouths, start sharing, and get after it. And I love RAIN. I love what it stands for. I love the culture that we're creating. I mean, this is a process, right? I think we've heard and seen a lot this weekend about what RAIN really is. What is RAIN? And you think about that, what is it, right? And I hope that by you guys being here this weekend that you've been able to learn and see and feel what RAIN is. And let's just get out there and hustle. Let's push it forward, and let's start bringing and doubling down, right? Let's double down our efforts, leaving this conference with a whole new drive to help, right? To invite and expose people to amazing information like this, and and just keep making it happen. So guys, thank you so much. Look forward to just working with you. And if you have questions, I'm here to help. We'll walk you guys through this, and as they said earlier, all of this is in all of the languages. It's all there. If you want to build in Spanish, you just change the language and you're on your way. It's super simple. So anyway, thank you guys. Let's have a great
told you during the simulcast that there was a video and it didn't play in Europe, and so they're dancing around. So that was during the simulcast. So when I went back to my phone, they were sending me videos of that. So I'm gonna show you real quick what happened. I'm not shocked that it's Miriam and Hans at the front of it. But the thing is once you get them started, it's hard to stop them. So they probably did this for 10 minutes. Now they leave the room. Anyway, I've got a lot of great feedback so far. Anyway, you can stop right there. They're going to keep going. But what I'd like to do really quick, can I have everybody stand up again, please? Stand up again. Here's what I'd like to do. If you have been in rain for for more than 6 months, actually I say less than 6 months, sit down. Okay, good. Yes,
Less than 6 months. Yeah, maybe.
And I talked to some people that recently made the choice to join and are here. So thank you for making that decision and being here. Anybody that's been in rain less than 1 year, sit down. Okay, love that. Okay, anybody that's been in rain less than 2 years, sit down. Look at that. See, look how young this opportunity is here. Anybody who's been in rain less than 3 years, sit down. Okay. How about 4 years? Less than 4 years.
I feel it too.
Less than 5 years. Barely, huh? 6 years. There we go. See, we have a few still. There we go. So congratulations. You see that? Look at that. You know, remember, it reminds me when I first got started in this industry. And you guys know my story. I joined a $1 billion company right next to kind of where I live. Everybody had heard about it. It was 20 years old. And everybody I talked to had joined the company probably twice. You know, it seemed like they'd been in twice or 3 times. And so it wasn't the newest opportunity. But I can't tell you how many times as I went and I hit the top level of that company in the United States first. And you know how I was able to do that is because we had a system that worked. And I would tell people, if they said, well, I've heard about this, and I've been a part of it twice, I would say, yes, but you haven't heard it from me and you haven't seen what we're doing. And this is what we're doing. Okay? And that's what we would do. But I can't tell you how many times I ran into somebody that said, I've been in this twice, or I've done this, and they were in the right place at the right time and they weren't involved anymore. And now the company does billions. Or how many times they sponsored somebody that's a multi-millionaire and they quit. And they didn't benefit off of that because they didn't have the stick-to-itiveness, they didn't have the vision to see the thing long term. And so it's kind of hard to see. So I love those people like yourselves that get it and see something maybe before others do. So they're gonna get it and they're gonna see it. And I was lucky though, because I did have, you probably heard that Mike talked a little bit about being on the road. Well, that's how I learned. See, when I went with my mentor, even though he was a multi-millionaire, and he didn't have to work. I mean, he did not have to work. I don't know if you guys have been to Thanksgiving Point. Have you guys seen Thanksgiving Point as you're going down to the office? And you see all those buildings? He owns them all. I mean, he owns half the city. I mean, he does not have to work. But when he does, he works. And this is even after he's a I remember traveling with him for like a week or 10 days, and we would get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and we'd fly to the next place, and then we'd do meetings, pushing for the night meeting, then we'd do the night meeting, then we did the meetings after the meeting, okay, and then we would go to sleep, and then we'd wake up at 4 and go to the airport and get the next flight, and do it again, and again, and again, and then he would never even pack a suitcase. He always had a carry-on, even if we were gone for 10 days, because if it got lost, we were going to a new country every day, we would never get it. right? If it got lost, so here's a multimillionaire washing his underwear in the sink. Literally, this is what we did. And when it was time to work, it was time to work. And so that's just how I was taught how to do the business. And there's a lot of different ways to work, and there's a lot of different ways to see success, but I think that there's one common thing that we've seen this last couple of days. And that is all the people and all the stories that you heard. You can't show me somebody that saw success that one didn't make a commitment and two didn't act, right? Okay, that's kind of a solution. That's kind of the solution or the recipe for success. Do you notice that did everybody do it the same way? No, they didn't do it the same way. They're different. Everybody doesn't have to get on a plane at 4 a.m. and they can still do it. You can do it that way. Okay, you can do it a lot of different ways, but the bottom line is everybody made a commitment and they acted on it, and that's what has to happen. And that's what we need to understand is, as we want to go after our dreams and our goals, nobody's going to go fight for your goal like you. Nobody's going to do it. If you don't fight for it, who will? If you don't go out there and believe, who will? Because everybody is your fan once you get there. Right? Everyone's on it, oh yeah, I knew you could do it. Okay? After you're there. But they don't always start out that way. It doesn't always start out, they don't always have the believers. You have to go out there and prove it and make the believers out of people by you being committed and understanding that. And one of the things that I love about that is that you couple those principles with what we're trying to accomplish. We really have gone over a lot. Do you like the app? Yes. And you probably heard me say this quote multiple times because it's one of my favorites, but you know, we always focus on what we don't have, or we always focus on maybe what somebody else has, or we're always looking at the thing that we need still. And I heard a quote that I liked once, and that is, the grass is not greener on the other side, the grass is greener where you water it. Right? Where are your focus? What are you doing? Are you focused on things you don't have? Are you watering that grass? Or are you watering the grass on where you're going to go? Because anybody that's ever seen success in life, they never had everything they needed to succeed when they started. Did they? Didn't they have to go create it? I mean, people even like Elon Musk, did he have PayPal before there was PayPal? The first online payment system? Did he have it? Did banks have it? No. How about Tesla? Did they already have electronic charging stations all across the nation? No. See, and that's usually the case in anything where somebody goes out and sees success. You don't have everything that you need, but you know what you want, and what you have is enough, and you're going to create more. And as you look at Rain, and the reason that I like to see the different leaders stand up is because there's people, I'm sure, in this room that can attest that Rain has evolved over time. People that have been here for a year, or 2, or 3, or 4. It's not just something that we say, but have you seen it evolve? Have you seen things change and improve and get better? Do we have more than we had 2 years ago?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Are we going to have more 2 years from today than we have today?
Yes.
Yes. We're going to. It's going to keep getting better. It's going to keep going that direction. So we don't focus on what we don't have. We focus on what we have now and where we're going. Because when we get to that point where we have everything that we need, okay, and we've been able to pave that freeway that first wasn't even a trail. We had to make a trail that's going to turn into a highway that then turns into a freeway. And then you're going to see people, not just like Mike who went out there and broke the record, the fastest to Diamond, but you're going to see people be able to do that so much faster than we ever could, right? Because of the things in place, because of that trail that we turned into a highway that is now a freeway. And that's what's going to happen, and all of us are a part of that. And that's what I don't like. And I've told my leaders, because I started in Europe, and if I think of some of my Europeans, and one of, I got Lazio, and I remember where I was at. I remember I was at the Marriott Hotel, and I was walking on the treadmill, looking at the Danube River. It's a beautiful place. Looking at the Danube River, walking on the treadmill, when I found out that the owners of this company were going to shut it down. That's where I remember exactly where I was. I just got done doing meetings, just got done firing everybody up, and I get this news that this company is going to be shut down because the people they just don't have the vision. So what do you do? What do you do in that scenario? Well, do I just go home and not say anything, or what do I do? So I sat down, I remember we got with my leaders and I said, here's what I'm hearing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how we're going to fix it, but we're going to fix it because this thing is too good. This is what I've been waiting for my whole life. And I didn't even know how good it was then. I just knew it was better than anything else I've experienced at that point. And it's only gotten better. Okay? I had no idea how we were going to get to where we're at today. I had no clue. I had no idea how I was going to find Christina, how I was going to find Casey, how I was going to find Daniel. I had no idea how we were going to open up markets and get into different areas and find you. I had no idea. But all we knew was what? It's not about what we're going to have. What do I have now, and what are we going to do about it? Have that big picture in mind and realize, guys, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. It never is. See, I have 4 children. And I could sit down at the very beginning of the week with my wife, Monica, and we can say, all right, you pick up this kid at 2 o'clock on Tuesday. I'll pick up this kid at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. And we'll meet here, and this person got to go to dance. And then we can plan everything the whole week out perfectly. You want to know how many times it works perfectly? But then when it comes to business, we're like, what? It's not perfect. Right? But nothing else is. And we just got to realize that we got to give not just the business, we got to give ourselves a little bit of slack sometimes too, right? We got to. Sometimes when you hear these people, and I love that we heard some stories where people were being genuine and being a lot more real and telling you that they had doubts and they're maybe going to quit and they're going to maybe look at another deal or go do this, because that's the truth, right? Instead of you always just hear, and that's what happens in networking, because you have to promote and you want to promote the success stories, but do you want to know that 90-something% of the people that hit the top level of a company just did it over time? Right? They just did it over time. There's no amazing success story except for they just got up and got to it. And that's what people need to understand as well. But we're putting things in place because this industry evolves. It evolves over time. And this thing is better, this industry as a whole is better than it was 10 years ago or than it was 20. And we're evolving these things. And I hope you like them. Do you like the way we're trying to evolve the compensation and do those types of things? That makes sense? Because we needed to do that. And we had just made a couple of changes. So when we went back and we sat down with partners and investors, and here I am telling them that we need to change it again. What do you think they're telling me? We need to change it again. You think they're a little bit nervous? Yeah. But I said, I know this is what needs to happen. I know this is what needs to happen. Okay? And then not only do I change it, but not only I change it, but I make it better. I make it pay more. So you know what we got to do, and we will do, is we're going to go out and show everybody that this is the way it needs to be done. Yeah. Right? So I need all of us, not just to think about it, but go do it, because it is better. It is better. And it's going to be better. It's going to help more people see success and help more people win. So we really have gone over quite a few things the last 2 days, haven't we? What are some of the things that we've talked about?
New product.
New product. Comp plan. App. Duplication. Giving back. International Seed Society. Back office. Okay, guys, these things, I just hope you understand. These things, once again, it's taken years to get to this. It's taken years to get to this. And as you see, I mean, I remember some of our first conventions and stuff. It was maybe our progression was, man, we got a couple of new flyers in the back office. Right? Because that's where you start. Isn't that where you start? Yeah, that's how it goes. And then you build from there. And you get better from there. And that's what we're all about. So I think the thing that you're going to see with Rain and with us is even though we love where we're going and we love what we have and we're going to focus on what we have, we're not satisfied. We're not satisfied. Because we can always get better. We can always do more. We're always thinking, how can we make things better? How can we help people more? And, you know, I just want everybody to know that you can be, and you are, a major part of what we're doing. And I know that there's some companies that like to have that posture. There might be some owners that have that posture, like, do what you want, because I don't need you. Just find somebody else, this is too good. You don't do it, somebody else will. But, you know what? We need everybody. We need everybody. And that's why the greatest assets companies are ever going to have will never show up on a balance sheet. Ever. Because it's the people, right? It's the people. This is the asset. This is the greatest asset. And it's us. So don't underestimate what we can do. Don't undervalue who you are and what you can do. Because sometimes when we get up and you see these people on stage, you think, yeah, they can do it, but I don't know if I can. You can. You might just do it your way, but you can. Okay? And you can inspire somebody. And you can use these tools and stuff, and we're trying to make it more simplistic. And it's all about the attitude. I remember when I used to go and do the big events in my first company, and we do it at a big convention like this, and obviously we were at like where the Jazz play, you know. This is a 20-year-old billion-dollar company, so we're in arenas. And we would do an event, and you know what was crazy? After every event, I would get 2 types of messages. I was the leader, I had a big team. I would get 2 types of messages. And you know what they were? One type of message was, oh, that was amazing. That was so cool, so inspiring. I loved how Tom got up there and talked about how he was able to work with you and how, you know, things moved forward. We got that kind of message. And then I get another kind of message. It seemed like every time I get another kind of message, and that was like, well, if you would have helped me like you helped Tom, I would have been on that stage too. Okay? I got both of those. So some people loved me, and some people I was the problem. Some people I was the one that helped them move forward. Some people I'm the one that held them back. Okay? And what I've learned is, once again, we always know that if it's up to us, we got to go out there and get it done, right? We take responsibility. We act like it's 100% up to us, but we help others like it's 100% up to us. We do both. And as leaders, as we grow, you know, that's where you really build that relationship of trust, and where you go through those things that make things happen. And like I said, as I go, or that build those bonds. And so now, as I feel like, you know, people have bonds here, we like each other. I love this because, and you're going to have this happen to you with your teams and groups as you go around the globe. I love that I can go to how many countries in the world, and I know people like this, and I have these bonds, and you can have them too. That I go the struggles that you're having, you don't think they're having them in Europe or have had them? You don't think they've had them in Asia? You don't think they've had them in other places? They've had them all over. And that's, like I said, just like we're on this journey together. And so as we kind of look at the things that we are accomplishing together, and we look at where we've gone and where we're going, I always like people to know that the past does not equal the future. It never does. The past doesn't equal the future. We can learn from the past, but what we do today and what we do now is what matters and what equals the future. Our mindset and our belief and where we're going. Guys, do you think we have doubters now? Do you think there's going to be naysayers? Do you think there's people that don't think we're going to make it? Okay? I love them. You don't think we had doubters from day one? You don't think we had doubters since the very first day? That's never stopped. That's never changed. And of course we will. But the thing that I love is it doesn't stop the growth. It doesn't stop where we're going. It doesn't stop how we're impacting. And whether somebody doubts this or not, that person's life is still blessed. That person's life was blessed. That person's life was blessed. Another one's going to be blessed tomorrow. And as long as we're out doing good, I love it. We just go forward. So I got this pit. If you want to go to the next slide. The reason I put this up here is because I talked a little bit about this, but what we need to do is, you all have those seeds of success in you. Everybody has seeds of greatness in them. You all do. We all do. All of us do. Seeds of greatness. We all have different flames. We all have different fires. We all have different talents and abilities. And so what we need to do, just like this, you're going to leave this room this weekend, and I bet you you're going to be more motivated than when you came, right? And every time you come to an event, and we'll bring this up next event, like we will after, and the one after, everyone's going to say, I wish I had more people, right? Every single time. Because we see and we feel the power of this. But here's what we have to do. See, if there's just a flame over an open fire, you're in the mountains and there's an open fire pit and you got a flame. That heat's not going to help anything rise except for maybe the air and some ash, right? But you take that heat and you put it in something like this, and things can rise. So what we got to do with this energy that we have, what we got to do with this heat and this fire and this passion that we feel, is we have to put it in something to help us rise. Okay, so if we go and leave this weekend and we don't take this energy and put it in the app, we don't take this energy and put it in sampling new product and going and building and sharing, then what happens to that heat? It goes away. What happens to that heat? Did we use it to help us rise? No, we could have used it. See, this right here, one of my favorite things, part of promotion, is the post-promotion. The post-promotion is, I just got back from. That's a phrase that I just got back from. You're not going to know what it is. I just got back from. You know, for the people that I've been talking to for a while, that are on my drip list, that have been looking at the business but maybe haven't joined. Or that have joined but haven't activated. And haven't really gotten started. I just got back from. Okay, because what we need to do is we need to put that in something to help us elevate to a higher height than we're at now. But the good thing is everybody has that fire and that fuel. So you have it. So now all we got to do is put something around it. Okay, put it through a system, put it through something. And you're going to see things happen. I really believe that we're going to catch this market on fire. I believe it. I look at, and I love the markets that we're in. I love emerging markets. I love all those things. But guess what? I'm going to tell you, because we're not on global broadcast anymore. So I can say a couple things. Okay, and that is, if you look at almost every network marketing company on the planet that's been around long term, it's not a flash in the pan, it's been around long term. The people that dominate the US dominate the world. The people that dominate the US dominate the world. You want to know that the next 4 largest GDPs of the 4 largest countries after the US combined equal what the US is? Our gross domestic product, how much money is generated by the United States. The next 4 combined. Okay? And so sometimes I love that we want to grow and we want to expand and we want to do all these things. But guess what? We have shipping here that works. I can pay commissions here easy. Right? Okay. Language, it's in English for the most part. We got a couple languages. Like people, they can get a credit card like that. They have resources. Okay? So if you have a choice, and I'm just going to put the business hat on, if we have a choice to work in a market that has the largest GDP on the planet, or go to a market where the average person earns $120, business-wise, what makes most sense? Now, we're going to be everywhere because we want to bless everyone's life, right? But why should we focus on other places when we haven't even scratched the surface on the biggest market on the planet, which is also the biggest melting pot on the planet of every culture from around the world. You want to know how to get into any country around the world? Build in the US. Right? That will take you everywhere. That'll take you everywhere. So I want to make sure that we get focused, and you're going to see this happen. We talked a little bit about this at the Ascend, where we're going to put a training program together. We're going to put a lot of local meetings and doing all that stuff. You're going to see that ramp back up. We got a little distracted for a minute. We're not distracted anymore. Okay? We're going to ramp back up. And so what I want to do, not just through the app, because maybe that's someone's way is the app. And we're going to use that a lot. Maybe some way social media. But at the same time, I like ladder of escalation. Ladder of escalation means we need to be building upon what we've already built on, right? So if somebody does do a three-way call and they don't join, then probably what they need to do is they need to be escalated to the next thing, and escalated to the next thing, and escalated to the next thing. So maybe it is a three-way call after they've seen the video. And then after that, if they haven't joined, get somebody else on. And if they haven't joined, get them on a conference call with more people. And if they haven't joined, get them on a conference call with more people. Or if it's a two-on-one meeting, well, the reason I say two-on-one, because even if it's one-on-one, what's the other thing? A tool, right? It's never one-on-one. It's two-on-one no matter what, whether it's two people or you and a tool. Okay, and if somebody doesn't join at a two-on-one meeting, then what do? Have them come to a home meeting. And if they don't join the home meeting, have them come to the weekly meeting. If they don't join at the weekly, have them come to the monthly meeting and the quarterly meeting. And every time they see the business, it's psychologically bigger. When somebody hears this opportunity and they like it and they don't join, you know what I need? You know what I know they need? Social proof. That's it. If they see it and they like it and they don't join, social proof. Now, our products obviously are in that mix the whole time. Hopefully, they get a testimony on the product. It doesn't mean they're going to build a business, they can be a customer. But to go build, they need that social proof. So we need ladder of escalation. We need to be going on all cylinders. So if you're doing it this way or you're doing it that way, you have ways to plug in. Because I'm telling you what, like something like this, can we replicate the feeling in this room any other way? Okay, there's always going to be a need for a meeting. Okay, I might not be the biggest, but there's always going to be a need for a convention and a conference, right? There's going to be, because you cannot replicate a feeling like this on a conference call. So we'll still do them. It's part of the system. We'll still do three-way calls. We'll still do that stuff all day long. That was even years ago. When I started in this business 14 years ago, we didn't have all the technology we have today, but we still had a 1, 2, 3-way system. We just used sizzle call lines. We did a 3-minute call, and then a 7-minute call, recorded call, and then what? And then after that, we would get them on a 3-way call. So we had a 1, 2, 3-way system. So, but then once again, we still always have some of the meetings and the training. So we're gonna go on all cylinders. So, how many of you want to be a part of that? Be a part of blitzing in that space. Okay, because sometimes it is just getting that person's focus. Sometimes I got to get that person out of their environment because of the Screaming Kids. Sometimes I got to get them out of their environment where they can sit down, focus, and they get it. Right? But sometimes they don't need it. Sometimes a sizzle call is going to get them in. Sometimes a video that we send them is going to get them in. But that's that ladder of escalation. So that's what we're going to be putting together, and that's what you're going to be seeing. And that's going to happen pretty quick. And I know that you've seen me travel quite a bit, but I'm telling you right now, my focus, I got to do what I got to do, but when I have a choice, I'm going to be here. And I'm going to be pushing the U.S. And I'm going to be doing what I can to help support you. Because I know that if we dominate here, and when we dominate here, it not only is it the biggest market, but guys, it also, what, do I have to have safety stock? Do I have to go through customs and duties to get here? Do I have to do all those things? So what happens every time we sell a product and make money here? I have more money to do more things for you, right? So the more we grow in the U.S., the more we can do every other thing on the planet easier. So there's all the reasons why I want to be focused here. When I say U.S., I mean North America too. I know that the United States and I know Mexico are going to ping pong back and forth like crazy, okay? Up into Canada. Canada's going to ping pong back. North America, then it's going to go down to Central America, then it's going to ping pong back, and then it's going to go down to South America, right? So that's what's going to happen. And all we got to do is just go out there and do our part. And go out there and share this message with people. And so I know that there were some people, because we just did an event like this a couple of months ago, that were wondering, why are we doing this again, right? Do you think it was worth doing? Yeah. If we had all this stuff to share, would you have wanted us to wait till the fall? No. Okay, no, we don't want to wait till the fall. But in the fall, we're going to have some more stuff for you. And what is it? It doesn't matter. What we have now matters, right?
Yeah.
There's always going to be something else. You can't be focused on the other thing. We're always going to focus on what we have now and where we're going now. And so, guys, I'm excited and I'm passionate. You guys know that I care about what I do.
Where you put the water.
I love people. I love this industry. But at the same time, I'm passionate, I'm aggressive, and I love to win, and I hate to lose. And so we're not going to. So, you know, you can't lose if you don't quit. You can't lose if you don't quit. And we're not quitting. I mean, we're doubling down, we'll triple down, we'll quadruple down, we'll do whatever we got to do to go out there and push things forward, because what we have really is that good. What we have is too good. And so, you know, as you take this energy now and these things that you've learned, and you take this excitement, just go and do. And are you going to mess up through the process? Yes. And I love how Paul said that. You have to go through failure to get to success. I love that. That's the path. You can't get to success without traveling through. That's the path, failure, right? I love that because it's so true. It really is. And that's what we have to do. And it's okay if you do a bad presentation. And you've heard all my story. I mean, when I first did my first opportunity meeting, and my mentor, I mean, he was not nice, or he was nice, but he was hard on me. When he said, Byron, that was the worst presentation. You said and 500 times. You didn't look people in the eye. And I wish that was the only thing he said that I did wrong. I'm like, I just stay, every day I'm like, I don't know, should I be depressed? Because I don't do anything. But what he was doing is he just knew what needed to be done, the way it needed to be done, and what did he want me to do? He wanted me to win. He wanted me to do it. He wanted me to do it right. And so he can just say, oh, I don't want to hurt his feelings, so I'm not going to say it. Well, that's pretty good. Oh, good, just keep it up. No, that was terrible. Now let's fix it. You know, and that's the attitude I think that all of us need to do. If we know that we have to get through so many no's to get a yes, let's just get through the no's. If we know we have to do this many presentations to do a decent one, let's just get through it. Right? Let's just get through it. Let's just go out there and do it. If we know that, and it's a numbers thing, and it's not just a numbers thing because it's a skill thing, and it's all these things in effect, but if we know that if we do different things, we can only get better. Because I'm telling you what, probably not going to get worse, right? Probably not going to get worse. So out of everything that you guys heard this weekend, and I know it's going to be kind of hard, what is it that you think is impacting you the most?
App.
Make it
Two, make it simple, the simplicity. What's something else? What resonates with you?
Yeah.
Seed science, getting that finalized and finished.
Changing the world.
Changing the world, giving you back.
Yeah.
The timing.
Yeah.
Okay? Every one of you are right.
Yeah.
Because we're all different, and that's what we need to realize, that we're all different. And so if somebody does it a little bit different than we do, great. You know, we try to teach people this system and this pattern, but things are going to resonate with different people. And that's why as we do these systems, some parts of the system you're going to like, and some parts of the system you're not going to like. You know why? Because that's not you. But you only want people in your team like you. You don't. So why do we use all parts of the system? So we can get all types of people, right? So just realize that. Because there'll be people that will say, I want to know more about the science. Like, that doesn't matter. But to somebody it does. We need to know more about the concept. Other people say that doesn't matter, but it does. So we need to embrace the system as a whole and not just parts of it. Because if we just do parts of it, then what's going to end up happening is you're only going to get parts of the demographics that you could get. Right? So we do that, and then we standardize things, we use them, and we use the standardized videos, we do all these different things. Has anybody ever been to a presentation before in rain and you wondered if it was a rain presentation? I have. Like, is this rain? Well, that's interesting. Or I thought the PowerPoint had this many slides. How come you have 137 slides? What is going on here? It's like, it's growing. Next time I come back, it's 243. Like, what is going on? And that's what, it really is getting down to that simplicity. And one of the things that I learned, even from mentors outside of this industry, is that anytime you're not seeing the duplication that you were seeing before or prior, if you were seeing it, you're adding stuff that's making it muddy. Okay? And we just gotta bring it back to the simplistic aspect of what we're doing and take it from there. So, and I love what, all the different things that we heard today. I love hearing the stories, and I love seeing people evolve. Have you seen people evolve? Have you seen people personally develop?
Yes.
Are you witnessing that? That's one of the things that I love. Is I love seeing that. Okay, and I'm shocked, but not shocked. I love seeing that. I love seeing like what happened to that person. What's different that now this happened for him, or maybe it didn't. And I already know what happened. And I don't know everything, but I know something changed here, right? I know something changed here, that's for sure. Because when it changes here, it changes everywhere else. So, as we're wrapping up this weekend, and like I said, I'm getting on a plane tomorrow to go do it again, and then we'll go do it again. It never gets old sharing the story. It never gets old sharing the message. It never gets old telling a testimonial. It never gets old when somebody comes up to me and is emotional because of what's happened, whether it's the business or what happened to their child or what happened to them because of the product. It never gets old because that's one more person whose life is blessed because of what we do. So what we do is really don't be ashamed of it. I believe it's noble. Okay? We can go out there and do stuff to bless people's lives, or we can just make money. Our choice. And if we're just making money, there's only so much we can do with that. But and that time, once again, is stuff that we don't get back. So, as we recap all the different things that have happened this weekend, I really do want you guys to make sure that you take some time this weekend to write some stuff down. Write it down. Write down how you felt. Write down what really meant something to you. Something that gave you a different perspective. Go back to your goals. Look at your goals and adjust them. Go back to what you think you can accomplish in the time frame and do it. And add those things because you can. These are the times when we're in this state, when I think when decisions are made and action is taken, is where we really change the most. When we can grow the most. So we just need to take advantage of that time. So, advantage of this time we spent together. So anyway, I appreciate everybody being here. I really do. This is something that I've been looking forward to, sharing some of these things with you. I really have. I have tough days too, guys. You don't think I wake up some days and I just go on a scream? Yeah, I went on a scream ever. You don't think you just want to okay, I'm just going to disappear on an island for a month and nobody can call me. Nobody. Yeah. The beautiful thing about having a global business like Paul talked about is you can go to sleep and there can be sales in Norway. The bad thing about having a global business is I can go to sleep and someone can call me from Norway. Right? But that's all right. That's part of having a global business. And it's an opportunity, but we all do it because we see the potential and where we're going. So, World Seed Summit, 2018. I think it was pretty historic. The first time we ever did it. I've never been to an event that we've had where we've actually talked about and kind of launched so many things at once. And so every one of these things is just going to help us go out there and do things better. So I want you guys once again to just give everybody a round of applause. The staff. our staff, but what do you think about the marketing team, all the videos? They do videos, and they do the AD equipment one night, the other night they got a rock band going on. And so they did awesome. Did you like the band last night? And man, they're really what make things happen. And yeah, you might ask what they do. Their job description might be this big, but what they do is like this big. So
Yes.
they do whatever it takes. Thank you. And I asked Daniel, I said, Daniel, I don't know how you got out of speaking the last 2 days. We'll hear from him in the future. I don't know how he got out of speaking. And that's one of the things, when you hear about Daniel talk about our brand and who we are and where we're going, he's very, very passionate about that. And you can see that in their work and what they do. They do great work. We have great people. So, once again, I just want to thank you guys. There's going to be a little video, kind of a little recap videos as we end. So when I say goodbye, you can still pay attention to the screen because I want you to see kind of this little recap video as we finish up here. But just once again, remember this. And remember that you're not doing this by yourself. Remember the brain partners that you have all around the world. Remember their struggles. Remember the different successes that you've heard. And just know that if others can do it, you can too. And if others can do it, why not you? Okay, why not? Okay, because I know you can do it. I know you can get it done. So we're going to go out there and get this done together. So thank you so much. It's been an honor to spend this weekend with you. We love you.
This concludes our sessions. Please travel safely.